What did you just say?
You heard what I said. Oh, yeah.
What did you just say? What did you just call me?
What? You said we got beef? Is that what you said?
What did you just call me, boy?
Oh,
snap. Called you
Let's
a
go.
boy.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Well, let me make sure we're streaming on everything, buddy. All right. We're streaming on everything.
We're putting our nuts on the table on this episode. Nuts out.
Nuts out?
Nuts
Damn.
out. Like my pants are off. Like all you see.
What?
What?
You said you're not wearing any pants on stream? Oh,
what?
God. What a loser.
Who said that?
Okay. Grant.
What?
Let me start retweeting stuff real quick.
Hurry up.
I am.
Hurry up because you're slow. We gotta get this ball rolling. You know why? Because we got fire. That could lose power at any minute. I feel like Armageddon. I feel like Armageddon's going on right now because hell has frozen over.
What, in Mississippi?
South Mississippi. Nope, not Mississippi. South Mississippi. It's different.
You don't get a lot of snow down there, dude.
We don't ever get snow. It snows like once every 15 years.
I can't remember the last time we got snow here.
And we got 5 inches of snow outside.
I don't think we ever get snow here.
They're getting snow in the Panhandle.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, you should have lived in the Panhandle.
Should have. All right, let me tweet this live YouTube out.
I wonder if it's snowing in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of America. So I wonder if it's snowing in the Gulf of America.
I don't know, dude.
I wonder how long it's going to take for people to...
The Gulf of America is awesome.
It is awesome. I've never called it the Gulf of Mexico, so this really doesn't affect me. I just always called it the Gulf. That's what they call it down here.
Gulf. Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to catch on. Like, I get what he's trying to do, but I don't think it's going to catch on because I don't think everybody's ever just called it the Gulf of Mexico. People just call it the Gulf.
Isn't it like really cold in your house? You don't have heater?
No, it's on. It's just so cold outside that the heat's it takes forever to heat up. Dude, my heat's been on since 6 a.m. and it's only 68 degrees in my house. That's how cold it is outside. It's like 19 degrees outside.
I wonder if we were going to get that front. All right. We're streaming on Rumble too.
All right.
Just got the notification. Just got the notification, Grant.
Okay, I don't care about your notifications. Don't care.
Grant.
Don't care. That's the only activity you get on your phone.
It really is. That's like the only thing I got.
Your phone is drier than the Sahara.
Damn. All right. Grant, you ready for some trailers before we kick off the podcast?
I'm ready for some trailers.
Are you?
We're not talking about the Mississippi guy.
You ready, Grant? You ready?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, sit your ass.
I did that to you last time. You can't. You can't try to flip it on me.
Already did. Already did. Flipped it. All right. Let's do this. Let's do Diablo trailer for this season that just released today.
All right. Do it.
All right. Let's get it going. Let me know when you see that.
I see it. Let's let the copyright begin.
Oh, that's all right. We good.
The Tree of Whispers' heads have been stolen. We need your help to recover them, Wanderer. Severed from the tree's branches, the heads wreak havoc across Sanctuary. You are just what we need to root out those responsible for stealing them. In return, we'll divulge the secrets of our ancient magic. With each passing moment, the tree's whispers intensify. Listen closely, and they will lead you on the right path. Earn our trust, and you will be rewarded. You must be prepared to change your tactics when necessary. The Headratan shouldn't be underestimated. Other rewards await those with the strength to claim them. Recover the heads, learn our secrets, and become more powerful than you'd ever thought possible. Well, Wanderer, do we have a deal?
Season of Witchcraft just dropped.
Just when I'm out, they pull me back in.
Yeah, I'll be playing this here shortly.
What are you playing? Tell everybody what you're playing.
Probably Druid. I haven't played a Druid in a while.
All right, so he's not playing the lame Barbarian. That's good.
I don't know, man.
You'll end up playing a Barbarian. You always go
I
back.
always end up playing a Barbarian. But hopefully...
Playing a Rogue.
You want to play Rogue?
Playing a Rogue.
Yeah, hopefully... I don't know, man. Is hopefully they amped it up some again this season. I'm not sure how long it's going to keep my interest, but we'll see.
I wonder if they've added some stuff ever since Path of Exile 2 came out. It's kind of like one of those things, like they had it done. They're like, oh, wait, we need to do some more because they're kicking our ass.
They got to do more. Path of Exile is still 0.1 phase right now. It's not even 1.0. It's 0.1. And look what it has.
Jeez, I know. It's incredible.
But we'll see if this is going to bring me back in for longer than a week.
I'll level you up, man. Just follow me, and I'll teach you how to do it since you don't know how to.
It's not how it goes, Grant. Okay.
Noob.
All right, let me go to the next trailer.
Y'all just follow me and Elon. Follow me and Elon, and we'll show you how to do it.
What? No.
Me, Rob, and Elon.
What'd you say?
I said me, Rob, and Elon.
Oh, you, Rob, and Elon? Is that
show how to do
that's
it.
how you roll?
Mm-hmm. Like the Mount Rushmore of Diablo.
No, you're not. Okay. Grant, this is a trailer called Tempest Rising. It's for a game developed by who are these guys? They're called Slipgate Ironworks.
Slipgate Ironworks. Never heard of them, but let's go. What have they done anything before? Or is this their first game?
I would just watch the trailer.
Please stand by.
Shut your face.
Now listen close. Those creatures, he released them.
You will obey or be disintegrated.
You can count on me to see it through.
I think you should see this. Arise. Inferior life forms will be activated.
Fine. Let them come.
That's cool. Is this a real-time strategy game?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But I like games that look like that, dude. I mean,
Dude, I love games.
It looks really good. Like, well, I mean, they can trick you sometimes, but the game looks good.
You know, I gotta go with the OG though, man. Age of Empires 2.
I know that, man, but this is a different type. It's for different people. You know, more of your your StarCraft players that like StarCraft type RTSs and stuff like that. So it's interesting. I might play it. It's coming out, I think, April on Steam.
You can play it on your new Steam Deck? You can play it on your new Steam Deck?
My Steam Deck?
That's what I said.
Steam Deck. You said Steam Deck.
I said you can play it on your new Steam Deck.
Steam Deck. Yes.
Steam Deck.
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 Steam
Deck.
Deck?
Steam Deck.
Deck. Okay. All right, Grant. That was the last trailer. You ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Grant Rowland here with the DMG Gaming Podcast, and as always, I'm joined by the guy who's got the answer to what's wrong with Western game developers. My boy, Ed Phillips. What up, my boy?
I got the answer, I think. Well, you better have the answer too.
I got the answer, but I mean,
This is
you're
the
more like,
Ed Phillips Gaming Podcast.
are you sure?
Disgruntled middle-aged gamers, buddy.
No, I got the answer too, but also, you're like the Oracle, though.
I'm the Oracle.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh, one-eyed bass.
Oh, one-eyed bass?
Oh, Captain One-Eye.
Oh, I got to share something with you, dude.
Uh-oh. Let's do it.
I got to share some stuff with you real quick. If I can find it. Let's see.
Hey, you can't post that one. That one will get us kicked off.
What are you talking about?
The prawn.
I'm gonna post it, dude. What are you talking about? This is here. Let me show
Laura
you.
Sanchez.
No. Nelson Gaming.
That's a great. Anyway, tell you, Mega Man X has some great music, man. Dude, that has great music.
Nelson posted a bunch of good stuff. Here,
That's good stuff right there. Dude, I'm telling you, man. Mega Man's got some of the best music in any game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's from Nelson. He posted like 20-something videos on Mega Man. They were awesome. All right, Grant. We're going to get straight into our main subject.
Well, let's do it.
Well, do we have some gaming news? Do we?
Not really. I mean, there's not really anything. I mean, Diablo 4 Season 7's out. I mean,
yeah, Diablo 4 is out. Actually, we got some gaming news. I want to bring this up.
Besides the fact that there's a lot of infighting going on, I don't want to get into all that, but
okay, this is Obsidian Entertainment's new logo.
Oh man!
And I saw this logo, and I was like, okay, here's my response to it. Let me go to it.
The ring. That's exactly what it is.
I mean,
you know what's funny? You know what's funny?
I've seen this movie before. I mean, like, that's what their logo is. So
well, you know what's funny?
I don't get it.
Is somebody actually drew that with, looks like they drew it on Microsoft Paint. Like, I know, I'm serious. I love that video. God, I love that video. And they paid somebody money to do that. Somebody got paid to do that.
Oh, here's another one. This is good.
I mean, it's footwork.
No, fantastic, dude.
That's good stuff, man.
Nelson Gaming. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's Diablo 4 new season. That's the gaming news of today.
Gaming news.
I mean, there's really nothing much going on. I guess we can talk about, this is not gaming news, but Trump's inauguration. Did you watch it?
I did.
Yeah. And did you see his sword dance?
You know, here's the thing is, you have people who are Trump supporters. Then you have people who are, I don't know if you saw the video of everybody that gathered in San Francisco and started screaming at 9 a.m. You saw that? You know what I'm talking about? You saw that video?
Saw that.
Yeah, that was pathetic. You have those type of people. And then you have people who are kind of in the middle. And for the people who are kind of in the middle, there's no way that you didn't laugh when Trump was dancing with the sword. Play the video, Ed, because there's no way. Yeah, play the video, because there's just no way that you didn't laugh at that, regardless. I mean, if you hate him, you're not going to laugh at it because you despise everything that he does.
Yeah.
But if you're in the middle, you had to at least think this was funny, because I thought it was funny.
All right, let's play it then.
Let's do it.
Let's play, buddy. Let me go to bookmarks.
There it is. So explain what's happening. They gave him the sword. They presented him with the sword.
The cake cutting ceremony at the inauguration. So it was Air Force. guys. I think that's airport. Or something.
I gotta tell you, man. I get that they did a very good. There it is. He starts dancing. He does the Trump dance. It's funny. It'd be really hard for. This is one.
Look at it. They gotta keep a straight face,
Dude. I wouldn't be able to do it. I couldn't do it. That's very skillful. Let me ask you a question, Ed. Since you've been in those positions,
yeah. What about it?
How do they what do they do to like pick people who do that? Because I mean, they have to obviously get people who don't break, like who don't laugh and stuff like that. They have to keep a straight face. So is there like tryouts for that?
Nah, those are ceremonial details, dude. Like they practice that stuff a lot.
I know. I'm saying, but like, what happens if you like laugh? Like if you, I mean, if it's hilarious,
not. You got to keep your bearing, dude.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, is there not tryouts for that? Like they're like, because if it was me,
they do so much, man. They've done it probably quite a few times that they can keep the bearing. But honestly, Trump dance. If I was up there, dude, I'm pretty good at bearing. We do a lot of like can you lose your composure? Like we'll get up and you have to be in position of tension. And I used to do this to my Marines a lot. I used to like joke with them and like I had the rubber ducky or something. And I'd try to get them to lose their bearing. We used to do that all the time. And I used to do that a lot of times when I was a younger Marine, and I was pretty good at it. But, man, if I was up there and Trump started dancing like that, I'd lose it, dude.
So,
and then you got Melania right next to you.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, dude.
I know, dude.
So let me ask you a question.
Down. So, like, I know, especially in, like, when you are in boot camp, you had to keep composure and stuff a lot.
Bearing's a big deal.
Did the drill instructors try to break y'all on purpose, like by saying some funny shit? Like,
yeah, we used to. Well,
like how Army was in Full Metal Jacket. Like, did they try to do shit like that? Like, to say stuff like that?
I mean, there's other ways they can break your composure, but in boot camp, we used to do some drill offs that like we'd be there and they'd call commands and we had to do the right command with the rifle, right? Like present arms, right shoulder arms, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then after, in between, they'll try to make you laugh. They're like, come up to you and do something funny, or they like try to flinch or something like that. But there's not much to laugh about in boot camp.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Went through.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
There's not much to laugh about. I was the tallest guy in my platoon, and I was a squad leader, and I pretty much stayed on the quarterdeck, which is where they pretty much make you do a ton of different exercises if one of your squad mates messed up. I stayed on the quarterdeck.
That's because you probably stuck out. You stuck out like a sore thumb.
Sand pits outside that I used to have to stay in all the time because someone would mess up. If we messed up anything, the squad leaders or the guide of the platoon would have to be out there and doing all types of crazy stuff. Yeah, there's not much to laugh at.
No.
Oh, my sister though, she did send me a package with a bunch of candy in it, which the drill instructors take. But the post on the front of it, on the top of the box, it said, "Dear Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps." Edward
my God!
Now there's only one Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, right? In the Marines, right? And in boot camp, you're just a private or recruit. You're a recruit. And that's how you refer to yourself, like Recruit Phillips. You don't say anything besides that.
Yeah.
Well, she put it on there knowing what she was going to do. And yes, I got on the damn quarterdeck and I got slayed.
Oh, my God. And then they stole your candy.
And they took my candy.
That's funny.
Oh, man. In there too, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got slayed. All right. Anyway, Grant, our main subject. Our main subject for today's podcast. We got our main subject. We got our Disgruntled Gamer Rant, our top 10, and Game Gambit. The first three subjects, first three parts of our podcast are all going to intermingle, basically. They're going to be very relatable to one another. All right, but our main subject today is what happened to Western game developers. And this is going to be an interesting one because it is very broad. Yeah, and we could spend probably all day talking about this, but we have to condense them down into within 30 minutes to 45 minutes before we move on to the next subject. Okay. So let's break it down. All right. So let's do this. Let's talk about this first. All right. This is what I want to talk about first when it comes to a lot of the games we were receiving nowadays, I guess, that are being released now.
Mm-hmm.
They were developed around 2016 to 2020.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that correlate to, Grant?
Trump's presidency.
Now, I mean, is there a correlation? I don't know. But I bet you there is, how minimal it could be, there is a correlation with the, I guess you can say, the garbage that we've received recently. I guess, ideological driven mess that we've been in games.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can say woke stuff you've been given in games. I think there's a direct correlation with that time period and how people were just lost their damn minds.
Yeah.
Especially when you have so many people and their daily lives revolve around politics and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't think it happened to game developers? Like there aren't some in the industry that this kind of broke them and I guess change, pretty much was the driving factor in how they created games, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, there is. I mean, again, I don't know how big of an impact this had, Trump's first presidency, but I guarantee it had some type of impact.
For me, golly.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. For me, I really didn't start noticing it until about late 2019, definitely during COVID. I feel like people were trying to quote unquote fight for something that wasn't really there. They try and take a stand on something that like a false. They're fighting this false boogeyman. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we need to have more of this in there because they're taking this away. We got to, like, nobody was doing any of that. It was just something that they felt like we're going to shove it back into the right's face. That's just what it felt like. You know what I mean? Mainly, like I said, I didn't really start seeing it till late 2019, 20. COVID was insane. Like COVID wasn't.
We'll get to that too.
COVID, I don't even think was a real year. Like it just ain't like it's nothing about it. Just feels real.
A real couple of years, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
I'm just saying, like it was just like that's when a lot of the bullshit started hitting the fan because if you noticed during that time, censorship started taking a hold into the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, and it doesn't matter what kind of the aisle you lean on. The truth is, the right was starting to get censored. You know what I mean? Like it started being, what's going on, Will, man? They started the censoring on, like I remember it big time on Twitter because I remember I said something that wasn't even like out of the way and I got banned. So what I'm saying is they started becoming emboldened, like a lot of, you know what I mean? It's kind of like when you feel like that you have all the power, when you're starting to gain the power, like you're going to start doing and saying and pushing more and more and more. And that's what started happening during the COVID year. Do you agree?
Oh yeah. Now, when it comes to censorship, there was a big push in that, like in all platforms. Even before Elon bought X, which was what, a year after Trump's first term, right? It was like in 2020-ish, right?
No, he didn't buy. No, he didn't buy it till like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. It was Biden's. It was after his first term. Yes, mm-hmm.
But man, I don't know how we're going to approach this without just getting completely demolished. I mean, we're not monetized anyway, so we don't.
Man, I don't really care, man. I mean, here's the thing: is you're either going to love us or you're not. I mean.
Well,
we're not the type of
misinformation. We're not going to talk about like some things, but like the push of, I'd say, misinformation, this crazy idea, like this crazy development that we completely lost our minds when it came to what was good for you, and we all went to this route that it was you had to listen to what at the time the government was saying, and
Yep.
the idea of let your doctor give you basically some type of, hey, this is what you need to do for
Yeah.
your body, for what, as your doctor, this is what you need to do to, I guess, get over it, or what do you need the vaccine? I don't know,
Yeah.
but like we pushed that away. We pushed common sense away, and there was only one way, and
Yeah.
it was just pounded everyone's heads. It was vaccine or get out.
So you were in the military, of course. And for people who don't know, yes, Ed was in the military. Did they do that to you? Was that
Yeah,
like an
I had to
ultimatum?
get it.
Well,
It
that's
was
what I'm saying. Like, was
it was
that
ultimatum.
ultimatum?
Yeah, it was an ultimatum. If you didn't
Mhm.
get it, you were let go, and that's why
Yep.
Trump recently signed the executive order to give them back pay and allow them to rejoin the military if they wish to, but at the bare minimum, back pay for that period of time.
That's incredible because see, and on the flip side, see, my dad is a cancer patient, and during this time, they would not, and this is sad, they wouldn't see him without him getting the vaccine. They would not treat him
That's
at all.
crazy, dude, isn't
They
it?
wouldn't. They would not let my mother go back there and be with him unless she was vaccinated.
Think about all that information that was fed that changed almost fucking weekly.
Yeah.
It changed every day. Every time Fauci, or whatever his damn name is, he got on the TV, it was something different than what he said a
Different
week
every
ago.
day.
It was
Yeah.
changing and changing and changing. Anyway, before we're going down a rabbit hole here. So
Yeah.
let's
No.
get back
Hold
on
on.
topic.
Will has a point. Will had a point. He said those dudes that were canceling are now acting like they weren't the ones pushing for it.
Oh, what boy.
Yeah.
You're
They are. They are.
100%, dude. 100%.
You know what? You know, it's what's the saying? And I mean, it's a saying, so I shouldn't get kicked off for saying this, but it's not so fun when the rabbit has the gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the truth. And that's the truth about it. Because people don't forget, man. People don't forget what happened. People don't forget what people said, people have done, and they're just not going to forget. And
all right.
it's been pushing, but now we're going to talk about how that started infesting the game.
Let's get
gaming
back to
industry.
what we originally were talking about, the effect of Trump's first presidency
Correct.
on the mind of some developers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's part of it. COVID is, we're going to get to that too. But like when it came to just the game design, incorporating like political issues that I guess developed around that time into these games, and like ideological differences, a big push on I guess you LGBTQ plus whatever
Mm-hmm.
in gaming. There's a huge push on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, dude, I mean, like, you can say the LGBTQ representation was in video games. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But it felt so much more naturally written, like
Yep.
your old Dragon Ages and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then all of a sudden, all these new games are coming out now, and within the last couple of years, they feel just trying to punch it in your damn face.
Yeah.
Like,
Shove it down your throat. Yeah.
it's not a natural concept. We can talk about Dragon Age the Veilguard when it comes to Tosh.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about all these garbage games like, Dustborn and a bunch of others, but it feels like, and another product of this is Assassin's Creed Shadows, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're going back to feudal Japan, and these are your main, one of your main characters is a African American samurai.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like, you had so many other routes to go, man.
You had so many real samurai, and before somebody says, "Well, he was a real samurai," I don't know. I'm sorry. Just like any other,
the gatekeeping of history and historical context on all these major publications jumping in on the, protecting these, I guess, ideological issues, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It was just constant from these gatekeeping publications to protecting these games. When it's no, just it's not good for the industry. But like back to Trump, like it really I can tell you right now, there's a correlation how these game developers that just whole, I guess, minds, their brains just had a complete meltdown over the first 4 years of Trump's presidency, and all these political ideological subjects and everything just got pounded into these games. And like the weird concept of the game designs, I mean, the character designs in a lot of these games, like,
has fallen off dramatically. Like, it's not even like it's fallen off so much that it's like, at first I thought it was just kind of like coincidental. Like, okay, they're trying to do something different. But it's fallen off so much now. It's become like it's a running joke. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's I can't even take anything that anybody makes serious anymore, character wise. Yeah, because it's because the women don't look like women, the men look frail. You get what I'm saying? Like, they're scared of masculine men and feminine women, and it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And and like
because they want it to represent them. They want it to represent them, the people who are making it. That's who they want to represent.
Like this,
that's what they want to represent.
And then all of a sudden, during this time, there was this weird break. I mean, it just went haywire when it came to what is a woman.
Yeah.
Or can't identify what a woman is. You had like, I mean, we can talk politics here, but like you had Supreme Court justices and like, what is a woman? We can't identify what a woman is. Like this crazy shit that we're going to look back like 50 years from now, like what the hell was wrong with us?
Exactly.
But like you had this weird concept of, females and, males and female sports, transgenders and all that stuff. And then it kind of like, it weirdly, I mean, again, these games that are coming out now were developed between 2016 and 2020, and they were having the same weird concept.
Yeah.
Like this, can you not make just I mean, when we say attractive female protagonist or like game character, you get immediately called a gooner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or, just something just nonsensical that just tells me you have no fucking brain. But I'm looking at a game developer's eyes and what can sell, right? You want a appealing female protagonist or a female character in your games.
That looks like a female.
This is a fantasy. All right. This is a fantasy. This is why people play games, right?
Yeah.
They want to escape real world and go into a fantasy world. And in a fantasy world, they want to see beautiful people, beautiful women. Mm-hmm. They want to see a cool male. If they're playing like if you're the hero in the game as a male protagonist, he wants to see a badass male protagonist, someone cool or something, or at least naturally written to the point that it's appealing in that way. But a lot of times you don't get either or. So there's this weird this 4-year gap where all these games were starting to be developed that game developers just lost their damn mind. And went
if you let it keep
away
going
from like what attracts gamers and what gamers want in their game.
Correct.
And then you had the gatekeepers, your social media influencers and the major game publications defending that. It's like, oh, what? You want to beat your meat because you want to attract a female? That's not it.
No.
It's the fact that you're making that female look like a fucking man.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
And it's even worse when you think that, for the fact that they think that's their go-to is beating your meat to these thing.
It's a stupid argument.
They're sick in the head, man. These people have never touched a woman. Most of these men have never touched a woman. And when we talk about attractive females, we're not sitting there talking about like the gotcha game tits, which if you got them, then cool. You know what I mean? But we're just talking about like an attractive female. Yeah. Like here's the thing is like if you would have gave these guys some rope eventually, you would have taken somebody like Chris Redfield, right? Eventually Chris Redfield wouldn't have been as muscular. He'd have been autistic and all this other you know what I mean? Like he would have started developing all these things, depression, all this other stuff. So what they're doing is they insert all these things into the great IP that's already been created, and they run it. That's why I don't want to. That's
with Mortal Kombat. I mean, they're
the most violent game ever made, right? and they try to make the characters look as loser as possible.
You know what I mean? They're making it something that is not how it got popular.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, they've completely redone some of the characters. Thankfully, like Capcom and Street Fighter 6, I mean, they're they're bringing it back. Like, they're bringing Mai back and stuff like that. Like, they're bringing,
like, give me the old Mortal Kombat. Like, I want the small building where they're out there doing cocaine and shit, and they're out there fucking making fucking Mortal Kombat. Like, that's the Mortal Kombat I want. I don't.
It feels like all this stuff has recently happened. You know what I mean? Like, they're starting to realize, oops.
Yeah.
You know, and completely redoing a lot of things.
Well, here's the thing is once they realize that the rats are jumping off the ship, because that's what's happening, and they start losing money, because here's the thing is Mortal Kombat's now owned by Warner Brothers or whomever, whatever it is. These companies like that, Warner Brothers, all these big Sony, they'll never go out of business, right? So once they change their policies of how things are going to be done, if these smaller companies do not, they'll just get rid of you. They'll get rid of you, or they'll bankrupt you. We don't need you. We have billions of dollars. You no longer have money. It's that simple.
Yeah. Simple. Do you know how many layoffs there's been in 2024?
A ton. Yeah.
15,000, almost 15,000 people have been laid off in the video game industry. Now, there's multiple factors for that. It can be economic, of course. That's a major factor. But it's also, majority of these major AAA games did not meet their sell market.
No. You know why they didn't meet their sell market? Because they concentrate on, instead of being creative and saying, hey, all right, let's go to a drawing board. Let's sit down and let's think of a new game. Their first idea has always been, what game can we remake? What game can we remaster? That's what it's been it seems like for the last year. When's the last time, like every time you see, the creativity is terrible.
We're going to talk about that here in a minute.
Exactly. But what I'm trying to tell you is every time you see a game show unveiling or whatever it is, there's at least 15% of those, 20% of those are remakes and remasters.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like me and you can literally open up a game studio and say, hey, we're going to remake such and such.
Yep.
That's it.
All right, so let's talk about that real quick.
Double Dragon. We're going to remake Double Dragon. That'd actually be pretty cool, though.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Like, creativity. Like, the creativity that... No, well, actually, let's get into this. This is next... We're going to do this as kind of a subject of this. But DEI infestation of Western game studios.
Yep.
Now let's talk about the correlation between DEI and the creativity aspect of gaming. Like what we can, like when it comes to all these remasters and, but you know, dude, when was the last time? Let's bring up Square Enix. They're going to be a major part of.
Yep.
All right, we have Final Fantasy VII that was released in what, not around there? Original Final Fantasy VII, right?
97. Okay. 97.
Right,
but
so the last time I have, think about the last time you were so excited, as much as you were excited for Final Fantasy VII, even after playing it, for a game like that. This was over 20 years ago. Actually, 30 years ago, this game came out just about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Think about, has Square Enix developed a game that was on the level of Final Fantasy VII since then? On the level of Final Fantasy VII. Game that had multiple movies, remakes, legit remakes. No. Nothing. No creativity.
Nope.
Like, it's completely gone.
No.
We get the same shit hashed out. I mean, don't get me wrong. Square Enix has some games up until now that have been fantastic, but they've been in the last 10 years, they're hit or miss, like majorly.
Square Enix when it came to Square Enix for the last 10 years has been a shell of itself, and they've either relied on remakes, they've relied on remasters like Star Ocean, and products from Enix. Like Dragon Quest, you know what I mean? Like their IP. I mean, you can go through and look at Square Enix catalog, and I guarantee you 20% of those, 30% of those are remakes and remasters. The problem is, go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you. But this is where I want to start with the creative constraints, DEI. And why a lot of studios are throwing DEI out the door, right? But overall, DEI does impose like a creative constraint because of the resources that it costs to run a DEI program within your company. Not hiring the best for the job. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And not realizing diversity comes natural when you're hiring on merit.
When you hire the best, the diversity will always work itself out. Simple.
It's
I mean,
like
that's anything.
It's like DEI is more racist because
it's a hindrance. It's a hindrance to your own company.
Based off their background or who they are when it comes to their social background, culture or whatever.
Correct.
You're hiring someone based off of not their merit, but on like their who they are as a skin color, who they are as culturally. It's honestly one of the most racist damn things you can fucking think of. Yeah. To me, it is. Like, it is really racist.
Yeah, it's bad.
And then
could you imagine if DEI was like in sports? So could you imagine if somebody like let's just say they needed me, they needed a white guy for the field the baseball team, right? Everybody on the baseball team was hitting 265 to 300, and then you got me, right? Who can't run a 40 for shit and hits 186. But I'm on the team because I got to fill the quota. Well, am I helping the team? Yep. But am I helping the team or am I hurting the team? Because you got to play me because it's in my contract. Am I helping or am I hurting the team? So I've now taken up a spot that can go to somebody who hits better, who runs faster, and who fields better. But since it's in my contract, you got to play me. I'm striking out, buddy. We're down by 1. It's 0-2, and I'm striking out and I'm running the game. That's basically what's going on.
And that's where we go into the excessive focus of meeting diversity goals. Yeah. That can ruin the quality of a game. Well, the quality of just outright your studio, right?
Yeah.
So, and the amount of resources that goes to meeting those quotas, to running a DEI program within your company, you're really bloating. We've said this before, but you're really enhancing your staff to the point that you don't need it. Like, if you're just you got too many people, you got another section within your company that you have to fill the positions,
or you got 4 people doing the job of 1,
and then you got to look at the people they hire for DEI, like what your qualifications need to be. And then when you hire those specific people with social degrees in something, or maybe some human resource background, you're hiring people that are hiring based off DEI. So who are they going to hire? They're going to meet average, let's say this guy, when it comes to the guy's merit or girl's merit, an average resume has average, I guess, qualities or stuff that are good for the job. But then, the main focus is, of course, their skin color, whatever. Okay. And they're hiring these people more off the color of their skin than what their actual merit based, are they really the best qualified for the job based off the merit?
That's
and people say, well, it's protecting people of color because, this is what the argument is. And this is mainly coming from the left. Their argument is it's protecting people of color because if they don't do DEI, then more white people will be hired. That is 100% absolutely false.
That's false. But here's my question.
And that's probably the most racist argument you can possibly say to defend DEI.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is people of color are not able to get the job.
Correct.
Because they're not
good enough. That's what you're saying. You're telling them they're not good enough.
People in game development or some stupid shit like that.
Correct. So let me ask you a question. So would you rather would you rather let's just say this, right? Let's just say you didn't know what the color of these people were, right? But you got somebody here who can code Python with their eyes closed, who can do C++ normally, who can do HTML. I don't even know if people still code in HTML anymore, but anyway, I'm just using it as let's just say Python. They can code Python with their eyes closed, shell, all this other stuff. They know Linux with the back of their hand, right? Or you got the Arabic guy. I'm just going to use Arabic guy, whatever to fill quota. You got the Arabic guy from the Middle East who's got his degree from Coursera, a Google document, and he could do a little bit of Python. They're going to hire the guy with the Arabic guy because it fills their DEI. Why would you purposely hinder yourself when you can fill that role? It doesn't matter if they're a white girl, black girl, no matter what color girl it is. Why would you choose a certain race just to fill your spot whenever you're giving up the talent that you can use to make your company better? That's what boggles my mind. It doesn't matter.
And then not only this, the DEI can create a let's say this word, toxic work environment.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I say this is this, because it can create internal workplace tensions, because people who were hired, let's say based off their merit, that's been with the company for a while, they can see someone that is not getting the job done, that is not up to par with what the company really needs, but his job is safe due to that DEI hiring. That can create kind of like, man, I've worked my ass off to get where I am.
Yep.
And
I created the game. I beat the quota.
Yeah. A person comes in to meet a quota. That can create a lot of workplace tension. And you see a lot of issues with the toxic work environments and all that stuff. Is actually, a lot of it is a product of DEI.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, could you imagine working 18 hours a day on a game? You're the team lead. You're in a time crunch, so now you're having to work 3 days straight with no sleep and all this other stuff. You get the job done, and then somebody who can't even do half your job gets your promotion. Happens all the time. The same thing. The sad thing is, this really happens every day. This happens all the time.
Nelson said, I would say Square coming up on 20 years of being a hit or miss. I would say, I agree with that too.
I agree with that. Yeah.
You can easily make the case for that. 20 years.
Easily.
Hit or miss for Square Enix.
I mean, when was the last Final Fantasy game that you could just say, my God, that was a great, to me, it was Final Fantasy 9. Honestly.
When it came to the perception that I thought it was going to be the new Final Fantasy 7, it was actually 16 when it came to the first glance.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like,
and everything
what made you go, yeah, you're right, because the demo was like very Game of Thrones like. I was like, I told you. I remember I was like, oh my God.
Like, oh my God, this is going to be awesome.
But what game made you feel complete? Like, holy shit, I could play this. I would play this game over immediately. To me, it was Final Fantasy 9. I didn't like Final Fantasy 10. Some people like it. I didn't. I hated 13. I didn't play 11 because it was online. My computer couldn't run it. I just never played it. I let you play it. But Final Fantasy 12, it was decent. They try to take the dynamics. Okay. Yeah, they try to take the Final Fantasy 11 fighting and they took it to that game. Final Fantasy 13 is vomit. 14 still going strong, 13. Hit or miss. I mean, but they need to they got a lot of stuff they need to fix.
Well, they got issues right now. That's Square Enix, and they that Dawn Trail crap.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Really, they're getting hit hard for that expansion because
it's more than just that to me. There's more problems than just that. My biggest gripe is they need to let you just skip past they need to shorten up that the first
without having to buy something.
Yes. Shorten that shit up, man. If Blizzard can do it, you can do it. And then 15 was garbage too. And then 16, it was good. It could have been better.
All right, but so anyway, DEI, right? It's direct. It has a direct impact on game sales. It has a direct impact on the quality of the game because you're not hiring merit based, right?
Right.
So that is the main, I guess, I would say, point that we're trying to hit here. And the point is you're bloating your staff with stuff you do not need because, again, at the end of the day, from what we've been saying forever, diversity comes naturally if you do merit-based. Anyway, let's get to the next point. The rise of Eastern game devs.
Can I make?
Now
Can I
we
make?
say,
Before
yeah, go
hold
ahead,
on,
go
real
ahead,
quick.
go
Hold
ahead,
on.
go ahead, go
Before
ahead.
we go into that, I want to say another big point that they've seemed to have fell on, and maybe you have this as a topic, but they have for probably the last 4 years, they have prioritized graphics over gameplay. They have gotten you everything's open world. Everything's all the, you know what I mean? Like everything has to be open. Everything has to be open world now. And they want the graphics. They don't give a shit if the game is doo-doo. But if it can run on a 490 RTX, my lord, if it's 60 frames per second, oh buddy, watch out. That's all they care about. They don't. Yeah. That's where they've put their money. They have put their money into the graphics side of it. Oh, it's not going to be a good game unless it runs on Unreal Engine 5. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck about that. I want to play a fun game. I don't give a shit if this thing's ran on Commodore 64. Is it fun? That's it. That's all I care about. That's it. I don't care about these high-end graphics. Matter of fact, I'll be tired. Unless it's an MMORPG, I don't give a shit about open world games. I'm fucking tired of them. Honestly, I really am. Unless it's like a MMORPG or like a Call of Duty type game, like Helldivers, where it's, you know what I mean. I don't give a shit about it. I'm tired of those games. I don't care about Assassin's Creed being you can jump on every cliff and every rock and shit like that. I'll be honest with you. I love Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't like the second one. Let me tell you why I don't like the second one. It's not a bad game. It's the same fucking game. It's the same thing. It's the same game.
Yeah.
You do the same shit. You have to talk to the people. You have to get the same stones, and you have to do the same thing. It's the same game. Even Nintendo got lazy with that. I have to admit they did. I mean, is it a beautiful game? Beautiful. It's not. I played the first one. I like the first one. I don't want to play it again. If I wanted to play it again, I just play Breath of the Wild over. That's basically what you've done.
Yeah, they need to go to something else.
They got to go to something else.
They got to go to something else.
I do not want another Breath of the Wild looking game.
You got all these Genshin Impact games that are going through that art style. There's so many of them.
Like I don't want an open world Zelda. I don't want an open world Zelda. Some games are made to be open world. Some games are not made to be open world. It was a good concept. I don't like the fact that everything breaks and all this other stupid shit. No, just fucking go back to what you're good at.
Yeah,
fucking make a good game.
I wouldn't mind an open world Zelda, but you got to make it different. You got to make it something that's, revolutionary, like the first, like Breath of the Wild was.
Yeah.
That eventually Genshin Impact came from that game. You know what I mean? Like all these games came from that easy art style that, won't push, systems to the limit.
Oh, but Ed, you can climb up every single mountain. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about that.
I don't mind it, but they gotta change it up. Create something, be the trendsetter again when it comes to games like that.
And also it's sad because like I'm the type of person that has to explore everything. Like that's just what I do. So I spend 45 hours like searching every nook and cranny because lo and behold, that's where the main sword, the best sword you can get. If you miss something at the beginning, you'll never get it. You've missed it if you don't do that. And then here I am spending 45 hours and I'm still in the first. That's when you call me, you're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm still in the first level because I walk up every single mountain, climb every tree. Stop doing that shit, God.
And games we see nowadays that are about to release, like Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah, I don't care about that. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm over all that shit.
Significant backlash for diversity and inclusivity.
We're gonna talk about Ubisoft later in our top 10. I promise you, because
I know.
Because they're like EA. It's the same game, just different characters. I'm sick of it, man. So now that we got that out of the way, go ahead and let's get into the Eastern devs because they are kicking everybody in the balls right now.
All right. Another reason for the downfall, I would say, of Western game industry or developers
is the rise of the Eastern developers.
I mean, Japan's always been there, right?
Yeah.
But buddy, China is bringing it, dude. China is going balls to the wall, laying their dick on the table and saying the gaming industry is ours. And we will be the trendsetters.
And for people who want to know how good they are, look at Marvel Rivals. They made one game. They made fucking one game. I'm talking about they came in and they kicked down the doors of the arena game. They came in, kicked down the doors, and took over in one fucking game. One game.
Dude, with such a simple concept.
They took Marvel and they took something that they didn't reinvent the wheel. They took the wheel and made it better. And that's what people need to do. How hard is that? That's it. Stop reinventing the wheel.
Some people say they don't like. I can understand why you don't like the game, but it's just like the gameplay. There's nothing like, holy crap, look at the gameplay. Yeah, they have team attacks and stuff like that, but it's different than a lot of hero.
It's addicting, man, because everybody's so different.
The gameplay is so addicting.
It is.
And
I've switched characters, by the way.
These awesome, like Marvel characters that look really good, and a lot of them have this old, the original concept, the comic book look to them.
Yeah, that
people don't realize that that's all they did. They didn't try to, make do their own concept of how, let's say, Miss Invisible looks, like
no,
make her like
they gave her big tits, a nice ass, and they made her look like Sue Storm. That's exactly what they did.
Like she does in the comics.
Just like they did in the comics. Wow. Just like Stan Lee did. Stan Lee did it, but he wasn't called a gooner.
Psylocke looks like Psylocke from the comics.
I know, sexy as hell. But Stan Lee wasn't called a gooner. But we are, because we like it. That's the sad thing about it. That's the thing.
But if you just break the game down in its core, in itself, it is so simple.
Simple.
And they are destroying everybody in their genre. Like it is.
I'm playing Iron Fist, by the way. Now I'm Iron Fist. Now.
You got pissed off from getting your ass whooped by him, didn't you?
Well, here's the thing: is I got tired of that. I'm not very accurate with Rocket Raccoon. You know what I mean? Like I don't have the good eye-hand coordination.
Yeah.
Like last time my accuracy was like 9%. So I figured I'll just run in kamikaze and beat the shit out of you as much as I can. And then when I die, that's what I do. I get about now I average like 15 to 20 kills. I get killed a lot, but I come in like a hurricane.
He's fast, dude.
That's it, dude. I come in like a hurricane.
He's fast.
I still hate Groot though. I've learned to stay away from tanks.
Tanks? Yeah, you want to keep your distance from them, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me repost a couple of these real quick. Okay. All right, Grant. Let's see. Rise of Eastern Gang. Okay, we already talked about Marvel Rivals, NetEase. Let's talk about some of the we've delved into Wukong a lot.
Yeah.
But Chinese game developers they're going after something that is really popular right now. And they're going after the Souls-like action RPG type of games right now.
Correct.
But they're creating it into not to be strictly Souls-like your commonplace Dark Souls or Elden Ring.
Yeah, they're putting some kind of boundary.
They're putting it more high speed. Yeah. Like they're giving you a more fast action, except it's still Souls-like. You know what I mean? Like it's a different concept. Like,
well, it's kind of like they almost did some research on it, some market research, and they're like, "Hey, here's a gap that needs to be filled. How about we fill it?" It's kind of like they did that.
Yeah, like they understand people there's a big crowd that loves Souls game, and then there's a crowd that likes Devil May Cry games, right?
Yeah.
Those fast action RPGs or whatever. There's hack and slash games. But they've combined it into what you have Wukong, which is then we have First Berserker Kazan. I played the demo. Holy shit. That's a cool game. Like it's so
Are you excited for it?
Oh, dude, I am excited for it. But like they're giving us these badass characters, they're giving us this fantasy storytelling, they're giving us something new, a new concept when it comes to stories. Just not the bland. I mean, you can say what you want about Souls game. The story you got to figure out.
Yeah.
Like Elden Ring, you got to find equipment and kind of figure the background of the story, even though it's just a masterpiece artwork, right? And you can kind of piece things together about what happened. But they don't give you the story up front. These Eastern game, with their China Hero project and everything like that, they're bringing it like big time. Like
Dude.
it's going 2025 with everything that's releasing from China, including some games from their China Hero project. It's going to be holy shit.
And a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's the Chinese, the communists." I don't give a shit. I love it. I love that they're kicking our
Gamers
ass.
don't care, man.
Don't care. It's like if the game's
put
good, I don't give a shit.
Some game in front of them. They don't give a fuck about all that shit.
I don't give a shit if it was made in the Philippines, if it was made in Indonesia, if it was made in Saudi Arabia. I don't care.
They don't care. So, I mean, say what you want. I mean, it's not, gamers going to more Eastern games isn't their fault. They just want to play good games.
That's it.
Western game developers, it's time to up, kind of up the ante a little bit.
That's right. You keep making them rainbow. You keep making them rainbow turds. You keep making them rainbow turds, man. That's what's going to happen.
Give people those awesome characters. Give people good gameplay. Give people something different besides a fucking remaster.
So let me just say this, Western game developers, fire your DEI team because it's not doing you any good.
It's not doing you any.
It's not doing you any good. Go back to the basics. Go back to your roots. Think about the times whenever you were getting into game development when you were younger. How about that? Think about that when you and your buddies would sit around and had ideas of games and y'all just started coding. Next thing you know, it just started one code, went to the next and all this other shit. Like get back to that. Get back to like the grummy, gritty, hey guys, it's 4 guys making a video game. We're going to code all night, rip bongs all day and fucking or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's what the coders, I mean, that's what you need to get back to. And
then, from this, the AAA game studios going into the DEI, going into all this crap that, that is, again, when it comes to political ideologies getting forced into games, when it comes into LGBTQ being forced into games, not, good storytelling or writing or anything like that, Now, what has happened recently? The rise of also indie developers.
Yeah.
And you're seeing these studios break, like these guys are breaking from these major game developers and creating their own studios.
Because they don't need them anymore.
Yes. And
they don't need them anymore.
Like we brought up one example last podcast was Rebel Wolves.
Yep.
These guys came from the CD Projekt Red, the main director from The Witcher 3, and some of those game devs that worked on The Witcher 3 went to and created their own studio called Rebel Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you saw the Blood of the Dawn Walker trailer and, how good that looks and how very Witcher 3 vibes is going on.
Looks fucking fantastic.
But they have a scathing remark in their mission statement, basically talking to CD Projekt Red about, we are gamers developing games for gamers.
For gamers,
and they really gives you some hints of how they're pretty much nailing CD Projekt.
They're sick of the shit. They're sick of the shit, man.
And their current business practices on why these indie game companies are just rising up and creating some really fantastic games. And we're starting to see that rise. And, you got some people that are just, 2 dudes making a game. There's some guys that's single developers.
Doing it by themselves.
Putting out better products. I'm not talking about revolutionary graphics that you see like from the AAA titles, but they're putting out a good game, like all around good gameplay. I don't care if it's 16-bit, 32-bit. I don't care either.
I'd rather it be like 16-bit.
Really good game, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
But like, here's, of course, Rebel Wolves, one example that they're coming out like a game that has just the vibes of storytelling from The Witcher 3, the cinematics, the CGI. Yep. We're going to get like a gameplay trailer sometime this summer on it. But wait. I mean, you're seeing these groups splitting because of the practice of DEI and all this agenda-driven crap that people are kind of fed up with. They're breaking away from these developers.
And what's going to happen? What's going to ultimately happen? And it will if they don't stop now. Is these AAA are going to lose all their top developers, and they're going to create their own companies because they'll realize, hey, we're the ones that were successful behind all these games. We don't need them. They need us. I mean, you're going to get that. And then all these AAA developers should be left with a bunch of turds working for them, making shit.
And then layoffs comes,
layoffs come, and they shut down.
They either shut down or get bought out. Yep. It's going to be And we're about to talk about a few of them too.
Sure are.
All right. My last one was COVID effect of the industry. I think we already kind of talked about that earlier, you know, so I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, dude. So what's wrong with Western game developers? There's a lot of things wrong, but hopefully they start fixing this crap. DEI, activism in these game development companies from their employees, thinking that they can, or even from their mismanagement and their management level. People that want to inject things that are forcefully driven in games that come from a certain ideology.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that these game developers just aren't getting right. And it comes from the top down too. I mean, mismanagement of their personnel.
Let me make one more point. This is just kind of play off. Another one thing that I feel that needs to be said about is they've also prioritized. Now, don't get me wrong. Nobody is in business to lose money, but when you're solely in it for profit, and your profit takes over your quality of the game, i.e., Star Wars Battlefront 2, EA, stuff like that. That is a recipe for a shit sandwich. So whenever when you prioritize profit over quality, and that's what's been happening to a lot of these, especially EA, a staple, a mainstay of sports
microtransaction hell.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, here you are, you have a staple of the game. I mean, hell, when Madden used to come out, like, it was always something new. Like, I remember when every time there was a Madden, you would say, like, what was new? Like, one year it would be like, my favorite Madden, I can't remember what year it was. It was, you actually could compete in the combine, and you do the 40, the bench press, all this stuff they do in the combine, and then you would get drafted from there. You know what I mean? Like, depending on how good you did, you know what I mean? You'd run your drills, whatever. But now it's just like, hey, we're just going to take the same game. We're just going to update the roster, and we're going to put slap dick on the cover, new slap dick on the cover, and roll with it.
Add something very little.
That's
to
it.
You know?
Oh, but we got Snoop Dogg on the soundtrack. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. All right. Grant, I think that wraps up our main topic.
That is. I'm sure like you said, we can do this all day. I'm sure there might be a part 2 eventually, because I'm sure we got some more stuff that we've glossed over that we'll remember later. But that's it for right now.
But to sum up everything, okay, if your business practices are revolved around forcing ideologies, or revolved around your own personal ideology, revolved around DEI,
correct,
and pretty much we can say, what DEI is one form of racism. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right there.
Oh yeah,
it is easily. You're mad that someone's president, and you think you need to drive in your social ideology into the game and hammer it home where it is not natural. Doesn't fit in the storytelling. Create characters are like that don't fit in the story, and you're just lazy and don't want to do that. There's so many other things, but bottom line, if you do these things, your game company will fail.
Yep.
And that'll be it. And then you can sit there and blame gamers all you want, but you just have to blame yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look in the mirror. That's it.
All right, Grant, let's do our top 10.
All right.
So
10.
Today's top 10. All right. Today's top 10 is the top 10 worst game developers. And now this is our personal list. Now, when it comes to like some of these game developers, they could have put out some bangers in the past. They could have a banger right now when it comes to the game. But that's not why they can be the worst game developer. There's certain practices that they have in place, such as DEI, and things that are detrimental when it comes to the actual game design. All right, Grant. I think it's my turn to go first.
Go ahead.
So let me put that first image up. Let me find there we go. Okay. All right, Grant. My number 10 is Insomniac Games.
Insomniac Games.
So, Insomniac, Spider-Man, the Spider-Man games, right? So awesome, right? Great games, I guess you can say. But let's talk about the route they're going now. When it comes to their DEI policies and everything like that. Let's talk about the new Wolverine game coming out. And let's talk about why are you making Jean Grey fugly? Like possibly the worst rendition of Jean Grey I have ever seen.
And she's literally one of the hottest characters in Marvel.
But if you went to Spider-Man 2, they did the same thing with some of the characters. I'm not saying Sweet Baby Incorporated was involved, but it sure as hell felt like they were hands-on with a lot of those characters. And it came to like the storytelling, stop. People want a comic book, a Spider-Man game based off Spider-Man. Okay? Keep it simple. Keep it to the comics. Keep it to, when it comes to the bad guys and stuff. Okay, do your own version of these bad guys if you want. Okay, but make them cool and appealing. And make the dialogue good too. Okay, no one wants social justice issues swamped into their dialogue. They go play these games to escape that world, to escape what they see on Netflix and everything. Every 24/7, every hour of the fucking day, they see this shit in the news or whatever. They want fantasy, and they want what they grew up on when it came to comics and everything. And Jean Grey, in every rendition of Jean Grey, she is very attractive. Every rendition. Except for some reason, you decided that, fuck it. We're going to make her ugly. Mm-hmm. But that's just one of many examples for Insomniac Games, okay? Now, are they the worst gaming company developer? They're actually a legit developer, dude. But they're going down a road that they're not going to be able to recover from, and they're going to get layoffs.
Yep.
And I think Insomniac already had some layoffs this year. So, what are you going to do? Give what gamers want, or are you going to go down this road of just push ideological crap and or DI generated nonsense?
All right.
Grant?
My number 10, a lot of these are probably going to be controversial because they're going to be like, why would you put that there? But here we go. My number 10, Rocksteady Studios.
Rocksteady, huh?
Mm-hmm. Now, Rocksteady, they used to have some really good games, like the Batman Arkham series. Fantastic games, right? But then, as time went on, they decided they wanted to develop a game, and that game is called what? Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League. Yuck. Why do you think that is, Ed? We've talked about this before. You remember Mrs. Freeze? Remember Mrs. Freeze from the thing with the haircut and stuff like that?
Yeah, I remember that fucking garbage. Yeah,
Mhm.
all right. So Mrs. Freeze, dude, this is a perfect example of what we're talking about.
Exactly.
You couldn't go with the fucking comic book character, Mrs. Freeze. You couldn't do that?
Exactly.
You had to make this fucking goblin that I don't know where she came from. Like, the character design is off the charts. Like, it is far beyond me what they were trying to get with this character design for Mrs. Freeze.
And
they
you're talking
dropped
about a
that
fall from
DLC,
grace.
and that DLC fucking hit rock bottom.
Yep. You're talking about a fall from grace. I mean, you created the Batman Arkham series. Fantastic. I mean, every game was like a 9+, great game. And then you shit out the Justice League. Why? Why did everything look like that? Because it looks, everything that we just talked about is why Rocksteady Studios is on the way down and on the way out. Trash. But you know what they'll do? They'll rely on good old reliable. Let's remake and remaster Batman Arkham.
It's coming.
They're coming. Oh, it's coming.
It's coming.
They'll do all of them. They'll get a remaster. They'll do a PS5 remaster and then a 8K remaster. I mean, this game will get remastered for 30 years. They'll get bought out because they're on their way out. That's my number 10. Go ahead.
My number 9, Bethesda.
Oh, that's my number 9. Oh, yes. Go ahead. Let's talk about it.
Dude, Bethesda Studios. What in the hell has happened to them?
man. Okay, so
I
for people
mean,
who don't know who,
go ahead.
well, let's talk about it. For the people who don't know who Bethesda is, they made one of the greatest RPGs of all time, Skyrim, right?
Even before that.
Well, yeah, even before that. But I'm just saying, like, if for people who are younger than us, that's probably their most notable game. Like, I mean, of course, they had Fallout.
It's a major one, yes.
Yeah, Fallout and stuff like that. But if you were to say like their stamp of game, their game of games, it's Skyrim. Now, that game was a masterpiece. I mean, you would have to be fucked up in the head to say that was a shitty game, right?
All right. So they also had most recent game, Starfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're working on Elder Scrolls 6, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't heard anything new from that for a while. But they did something funny. Like, so when Skyrim came out, they decided for Elder Scrolls Online, right? Which I don't know where they were going with that. Like, Elder Scrolls is okay MMORPG, but it's not. It doesn't feel like an Elder Scrolls. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they went from Skyrim to that, and they completely ruined the feel of Elder Scrolls. Now, then they went to Starfield again. Starfield, I enjoyed playing. I like the space epic portion of it, but everything just started to get so repetitive so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you had this huge galaxy. You could go to all these planets. I mean, the concept was just there, dude. But the storytelling and the character, like that. I mean, they gotta start getting their engine into the new age here, dude.
Yeah.
They gotta bring it better because the character movements, their faces, their dialogue is just so off-putting.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work anymore. And it's like they're not looking at their competition and saying, okay, we need to evolve from that. And they're just not doing it. They're just going backwards. So Bethesda, and Fallout 4, I like Fallout 4. I thought it was a good game.
Yeah.
But they're falling behind, like big time.
You know what
and their genre
was Fallout 76.
Yeah, that's become an issue too.
Yep.
But they got to get into, how can I say this? They got to get their engine into the next gen, and they got to start looking at their competition because they got a lot of competition now that's kind of pulling ahead of them. They got it for Elder Scrolls 6, I guess. It's got to be, they got to knock it out of the park, dude.
Yeah.
They're going to just falter if that's not a good game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Grant, go ahead.
Well, that was my number 6 as well. So go ahead. I mean, my number 9 or whatever number we're
9.
on. Yeah. So you're on number 8.
All right. So let me pull up the next one. I was debating for these guys. I'm about to play one of their games here in a minute. Okay. Blizzard.
It's not mine, but it's further up. But yes,
Blizzard. All right. This is where I want to bring this up again.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to their Diablo Immortal reveal, even before that, I would say, but like it really was like the signaling of Blizzard does not know they don't know their core audience anymore.
Yeah, they've lost that. They've lost that.
They've completely lost touch of who they are and how
Mm-hmm.
they became who, I would say where they were at in the late 2000s, early 2010s, maybe.
Yeah.
But when they did that Diablo Immortal reveal and they were talking about taking Diablo Mobile,
Boy.
and that dude stood up, went to the microphone and was like, "Is this a fucking joke?" And everyone started booing him, and everyone else was like sitting back like, he's right though.
Yeah.
Like, is this a joke?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to you're appealing to a mobile game community just for money and microtransactions, and you're trying to appeal to the East Vice, appealing to who you are.
Yeah.
And boy, were they quick to come out with the Diablo 4 reveal trailer after that.
This was such a disaster. I'll never forget that the Path of Exile team bought Diablo4.com. Do you remember that?
I remember.
And
that.
when you went to it, it went to Path of Exile.
Yeah. Those guys are
Oh
hilarious.
man,
Grinding Gear Works. Yeah, they were pretty good. Or Grinding Gear Games. But then, they like Warcraft. I don't know what they're trying to do with Warcraft. Like what is Warcraft now? I mean, like I'm talking about retail Warcraft, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about classic. But like Warcraft now, I mean, I don't know. Like the storytelling has gone out of whack. I mean, there's some cool aspects of the War Within they added. I mean, they add some cool stuff here and there, but it's very tiresome. Like it's just tired. You know what I mean? Like, and Diablo 4, it was cool concept at the beginning. I was really excited for it. I thought everything was great at the time. Then there was just no end game. No, I understand it's an early game and you need seasons for end game stuff, right? But like it was just not there. Like I got to level 100 and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Well, where they messed up, and I'll say this, is because they had such a weak season 1. It was so bad that they lost a lot of their core character, like core audience.
They had 3 straight weak seasons.
Yeah. But I remember that first one being like the vampire one was so bad that me and you didn't come back and play till like season 4, 5. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I thought they really brought it back to what Diablo was when they brought in Infernal Hordes.
Yeah.
And then you got me really going like, oh man, this expansion after this season's going to, the expansion is going to bring it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see Mephisto, you're going to fight one of the greater demons. Well, that ended up being like the ending to like fighting. You don't really fight the end game and boss Mephisto. I'm just like, what are y'all doing here? You should have had a awesome boss fight against Mephisto, but you didn't. You fought his wolf form, and that was pretty much it.
Yep.
And the season that came with that was okay, but like it left me wanting more. That expansion. That being said, they're ramping it up. They're trying to. I give them credit for that. They're bringing more and stuff. Like, so this new season of Witchcraft or whatever it is, they're bringing more stuff to it, more customization options for your character, advice to Bland, Paragon Tree, and stuff like that. They're adding that in. They're keeping some of the old stuff. You're seeing it start to develop into what it should be.
Yep.
But they gotta bring in. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they got to start bringing that old school Diablo boss. Like they got to bring. I'm not saying they got to bring Diablo, but give me those major bosses.
What's crazy?
You had Lilith. That was cool. You had Lilith, but she's really your only major boss in the game.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what Path of Exile did that Diablo should have done? The most successful Diablo has to be Diablo 2, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah. It
is.
So Path of Exile took a lot of those aspects of Diablo 2. I'm not going to sit there and say, I'm not going to sit there and say they 100% stole it, but they about 80% stole Diablo 2, basically.
All they did was
with their own spin. But they took their core things, like don't get me wrong, it's having to go back to town and all that stuff. That was very Diablo 2. I mean, you didn't have 16 bags and a whole chest full of that you can put 9 million things in and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Like they took that stuff, they took the drops and all this other stuff and the hard bosses, like the random hard bosses in Diablo 2. And Blizzard didn't do that. That's what's baffling is they didn't take their own IP. And again, instead of trying to take the wheel that was successful and just add on to it, you tried to make the wheel square, or you tried to make the car fly, and guess what? It flew into a wall.
Dude.
And the other company took your wheel. They hijacked your wheel. They did. I don't care. They jacked your wheel. They put you on blocks, and they kept on riding. And now they're riding high.
They're at patch 0.101C. I don't know what it is, but they're not even on 0.2 yet. For their version of the game, Path of Exile 2.
I mean, how
their end game is just taken from PoE 1 when it comes to the map, the Atlas, and is still more interested in anything since they're on season 7 now.
Yeah,
it's better than anything Diablo 4 has.
Imagine how you must feel when you've spent how long has Diablo been out? 30 years, 20, going on 30 years, roughly. Yeah. So you've had this IP for going on 30 years. You have a new company that's probably been around for 10 years. Walk into your house, take your IP, and then make it better, and then stomp all over you with it.
With less people.
Yeah, with less people. They took their balls out, teabagged you, and dragged them all over your face. And now here you are trying to play catch up. Because this for every season that they put out, I feel like Blizzard is playing catch up. Doesn't matter. I mean, it could be good, but they're still playing catch up. They're so far behind now that every season they put out, because you remember, look how fast these seasons are coming out. Like they just had, I mean, like it just was seasons. That's why I was confused about the number. I was like, isn't it supposed to be season 6? Like, I don't even think I played season 6 because it was season 5 felt like
6 was within the expansion.
That's what I'm saying. It felt like, but it felt like it was like 3 weeks ago. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, Grant. What number was that?
Number 8.
Number 8. Okay.
All right. This is gonna be a little controversial. Number 8, Konami. Is that on your list? Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about it. So, Konami is, and I'm not talking about past Konami.
Something?
Go ahead.
Before you start, Konami's worst decision that they've ever done was fire the legend himself, Hideo Kojima.
Correct. We're going to talk about that.
That was the worst business decision in gaming that I can possibly think of in the last God knows when.
Yep. We're going to talk about that. So people know Konami from games like Metal Gear Solid, Contra from back in the day. So we're not talking about that time. We're talking about now. Now I get that they came out with a new Silent Hill. That's fine.
Well, is a remake.
Yeah, exactly. Of course it was. It was a remake. But not only did they have reputation of mistreatment of their employees, they canceled games like Silent Hills and Metal Gear Survive. All games that were supposed to be made by who? Say it again. What is his name?
Kojima.
The most legendary game developer of our time. Right? So what did they decide to do? Instead of doing this, instead of taking their IP, making a new Contra, making, games that they're known for, what did they decide to do, Ed? They started pushing heavy microtransaction, heavy mobile, and pachinko games.
Pachinko? I know what pachinko is.
Instead of these games.
I played pachinko in Japan when I was there.
Exactly. That's what they started putting their time into. Because they thought, oh boy, this is what people want. Yeah. People want to play pachinko if you're 76.
Yeah, dude. Konami.
Such a fall from grace. Konami. Whenever you hear Konami back in the 90s, oh boy, you knew it was going to be a great game. Regardless.
Early 2000s too, dog.
Yes, I'm saying, I'm just taking it back. I'm taking it back to times before you even had reviews, Nintendo magazines. You knew if the game was made by Konami, you were in good hands. The game was going to be good, right? Now it's like, what the hell is going on?
I don't know, dude.
All right, number 7.
I think they will bring us a Castlevania.
I would like for them to bring a Castlevania, but it'll probably be more like Castlevania.
Dude. Yeah,
that sounds like a porn.
So Konami was on my list too, kind of a little bit up more. I'm gonna just let it go.
Yeah,
all right,
that's fine. You're on number 7.
Well, let's skip to number 6. So that was my number 7. Or do you need to do number 7 also?
Oh yeah. Well, so what would I do? What did I just do? 8.
Yeah, you just did 8.
Okay.
So Konami would be my number 7.
Okay. So my number 7 is EA Sports. It's not in the game anymore. EA Sports is not in the game.
This is my number 6. Just EA though, in general.
Okay. Well, EA's known for their sports games mainly. That's what they're known for. When you say EA Sports, it's in the game. All right. Now, there was a time when EA Sports did everything. They did baseball. I mean, they had college baseball, college football, and I know they just came out with a new college football, Madden, and for a time there was a time when Madden was kind of shitty, and college NFL Game Day was over that was over it was the King Dick then and all this other stuff. So what they've done is they started making really good games in the early 2000s. Nobody will ever forget Madden 2004. Why? Because you played with rookie Michael Vick. Michael Vick, the fastest man alive in any game. I mean, anytime you hiked the ball, you didn't throw with Michael Vick. You just ran. Nobody can catch him. Everybody played with the Falcons. Even if you didn't like the Falcons, you knew the only way you were going to win is play with the Falcons, right? These games started getting very, very innovative. They were getting very innovative. They were on the play like, oh, wow, what are they going to do next? I remember them like we talked about before. They started doing the draft. They started doing the combine. They started doing, you could take your college, how you did in college from the college EA game to you can port it over. You get drafted, you play college and then you play the Madden, you get drafted and all this. So that was cool. That was cool. Then around Madden 2011, 2012, started becoming the same game. It was the same fucking game. Like basically, like I said, they took the same game. They just put they updated the stats. They put the new draftees in there and they put some new slapdick on the cover. That's all they did, right? They canceled the college baseball game, which was a good game. I don't know why they did it. I get it. College baseball is not popular around the world. It's mainly more popular in the South than it is anywhere else. But I mean, they had college basketball, all this other stuff, right? So what they started doing is they started focusing mainly on Madden. And then they started going into games like Star Wars Battlefront. Good game. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Why was it a terrible game? Why was it a terrible game?
Well, you had to buy everything.
You had to buy everything.
Good stuff you had to buy.
Yep. EA became a cesspool of microtransactions.
You know what's funny about EA? They weren't the developer of these games, but they were the publisher. Was when it came to your early Mass Effects, you came to your early Dragon Ages, and what's other ones they did? I mean, they even did the Jedi Survivor and all that stuff. But anyway, like that late 2000s, early 2010s, they were putting out some good stuff, man. Especially like Mass Effect and all that stuff.
And I want you to know, EA is the reason, because they shut down Maxis Studios. Do you know who Maxis Studios is? Maxis Studio is SimCity. So because we don't have a new SimCity, you want to thank EA for that. So that's also another big fuck you to them, because SimCity is a great game.
Oh, dude, I know.
Fucking hell, man. Now I'm mad. Now I'm mad all over again.
My mom loves SimCity.
Dude, for people who don't know, Ed's mom is like the perfect SimCity player. Like I've never seen somebody like balance the budget. Like she was like
low
the perfect
taxes and everything.
She had she had like the perfect game. Like me, I'm bankrupt by the end of the year. I'm having to raise taxes just to get money in. Like your mom was making money. I remember when I walked in, she had like a Metropolis.
All right. That was your number 7?
Number 7.
All right. Well, my number 6 is EA.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
What's your number 6? We just talked about EA. I'm not going over EA.
Okay.
All right. So what's your number 6?
343 Industries.
Oh, buddy. Let's talk about them real quick.
343 Industries.
But yeah, I got some things to say about them. All right, go ahead.
So after the fall of Bungie, these guys were strapping up their nuts, strapping up the backpack for why, Ed? What were they in charge of? They were in charge of one thing and one thing only.
That would be
pride
Halo,
of Xbox.
my friend.
The pride of Xbox. Correct. They were tasked with continuing the Halo franchise. Now, don't get me wrong. You're basically on cruise control because Bungie did such a great job, right?
Yeah. They were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Halo 1 to 3, some of the best video. I mean, they are some of the best Halos ever
Correct.
made.
Correct. Because 343 Industries decided to make a Halo 4. And boy, was it not well received. Now, I didn't play it personally because I didn't have an Xbox. But from the reviews, it was worse. And what do you do, Ed, when you make a bad game? You would think that you would want to go back to the drawing board, right? And say, where did we go wrong? Because obviously we can't make another Halo and it get even worse reception. Well, they just did just that. They made Halo 5 and it did just that. It was actually, people thought Halo 4 couldn't be bad. Halo 5 was even worse. And then what they did is they tried to triple down. And then they came out with Halo Infinite.
Nelson said he stopped playing EA sports games like 13 years ago. That's about when I stopped playing too.
I did play the new college just because I haven't. It was.
You have to play that.
I have to play the new college just because I was like, man,
that's what 10 years since we had one of those.
But man, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it didn't have that magic, man. It didn't have that magic. I played one season and I didn't play it again.
All right, 343 Industries.
343 Industries.
Let me tell you, dude. I didn't have them on my top 10.
You should have. Maybe you should go back and fit them in somewhere.
I could easily fit them in. But there's just something that isn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked Halo Infinite. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe because it was just a different type of Halo. It was like open world-ish Halo. But they're just missing the. I mean, I compare them to the damn Paramount Halo series show, TV show.
They try to go right outside the box.
Missing who Master Chief is. They're not giving that same Halo magic that you got from Halo 1 to 3, or even fucking. I mean, you can go to ODST or some other ones like that.
Correct. I mean, that's the thing is they try to think outside the box, but doing that, they forgot to take the core beliefs and values of the old Halos and add that to it. It's like they took everything that was good about Halo, threw it out, and started thinking outside the box and just added a bunch of shit to it.
And I like Destiny 1. It was okay. Destiny 2, okay. You know, kind of.
That game was so repetitive. But that was the problem with that game.
It was repetitive, but I enjoyed playing those more than any of the new Halos.
I did. It was fun. I enjoyed Destiny 1 a lot. What I didn't like about it is, like you said, all the levels were the same. You're doing the same, like there was nothing different about the levels. They all look mixed together. I was like, I would actually think to myself, hey, I've played this before. That's because I have. I've played it 3 times before, actually.
Yeah. All right. So that's number 6.
Number 6.
All right. So let's go to number 5. Oh, my number 5, Grant. Let's talk them associated with one we just talked about, which is EA.
Yeah. BioWare.
Thank you for giving me quite possibly the worst RPG character of all time. Thank you for giving me all your social, ideological agendas pushed into a Dragon Age game. Thank you for ruining what could potentially have been a good Dragon Age game. You did that. No one else did that. You ruined your own game. And then, guess what? Corin Bush, the gendermancer from BioWare that obviously was the creator of Tosh and wanted that crap put into a fantasy world.
I think that's like the only thing that he was like, all right, guys, y'all do whatever you want, but you got to put my character in this game.
Put this character in.
Yeah.
So she's gone, or he's gone, whatever.
𝐬𝐻's gone.
But BioWare is floundering. They're floundering right now. They don't know where they're going to go. You know, they completely missed their sales mark for the new Dragon Age. So where are you going to go from here? They said they're working on their next big game. Okay, well,
they started working on another Assassin's Creed.
What?
Man, that's not BioWare. Man, that's Ubisoft. I'm thinking,
what the fuck are you talking about, son?
I'm so confused. They're basically the same.
Dragon Age BioWare.
Yeah.
All right. But BioWare used to be the cream of the crop, dude. I mean, all the way up to Inquisition, Dragon Age Inquisition. You know, I mean, let's stop. Mass Effect Andromeda was a hot piece of garbage, okay?
Oh yeah.
But Inquisition was a good Dragon Age game. The original Mass Effect games were fantastic. All right, they were fantastic, but they were just a great company. And now, what do you think? Why is they're on our list? Because they're a perfect example of what we just talked about early on our main subject. The bloat of DEI, hiring the wrong people, mismanagement, the creative process that gets hindered by DEI. All this stuff is your own fault. Your game didn't meet sales when it comes to Dragon Age of Velgard because it's your fault. Stop blaming gamers. You used to be I used to hold BioWare up here, like on the top of the mountain, right?
Yeah.
From the games they used to just deliver you great fantasy, sci-fi epics, but they no longer do because they decided to go the, I guess, ideological route and implement a bunch of DEI crap and hire people that just didn't belong there. So your fault. All right, Grant, go ahead.
Number 5. Ed, you know who Randy Pitchford is?
Pitchford? What about him?
He is the head leadership of Gearbox Studios.
Gearbox.
Gearbox.
Borderlands, huh?
Yes, but we're not talking about Borderlands because for every gem these guys put out, they had 17 turds. Turds like aliens, colonial marines, and Battleborn. Now, Now, Gearbox Studios, not only were they, don't get me wrong, Borderlands was great game. But when you put out shit nuggets like this that are so bad, and then you can't bounce back from that, not only is your leadership terrible, he used to get on Twitter and have all this erratic behavior. And then he decided he wanted to put out even more underwhelming sequels and spinoffs. Gearbox Studios. Flush them down the toilet.
Dude, I remember when Borderlands 2 came out. Oh, God, that was like...
a century ago.
Borderlands came out. But, it was like 13 to 12 years ago when Borderlands 2 came out. But, man, that was a great game. The original Borderlands was a great game, too. Because it introduced a new kind of art style for that FPS genre. But Borderlands 2 was just, cream of the crop when it came to Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
And then just everything just started to... And after that game, dude, Gearbox just started to go down the hole, like big time. Borderlands 3 just... it wasn't like pure garbage, but it was not anything close to Borderlands 2. They tried to do like Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which was, again, okay, but it was just weird. It was just not what not what you wanted from a Borderlands game.
Yeah.
So Gearbox, yeah, they've fallen from grace too. We're going to see how the Borderlands 4 is going to be, but don't be telling me that game's going to be awesome when you guys allow that studio to put out that crap movie, dude. Oh my God. Like, that is not a good segue into your game.
No.
Like, why did they allow them to do that? Who had creative control over that crap?
Yep.
Obviously, they might have had creative control. I don't know how they are now, but I'm not hyped for Borderlands 4.
No, I'm not either.
You know what I mean? I'm not like I was from going from Borderlands 2 to 3, then kind of a letdown with 3. But I was hyped.
I actually forgot that. I actually forgot it was coming out.
Borderlands 3 back in the day, But now Borderlands 4, I'm just like,
yeah, I forgot it was coming out. Honestly, yeah. I did.
That might be good. I don't know, but I'm just not excited for it, honestly.
No.
Right. And then you had
number 4.
They even went into Half-Life too. They were involved in Half-Life. They really have fallen from grace, honestly. So hopefully they can bring themselves out of that hole in Borderlands 4, bring them back. But I don't know. All right, Number 4?
Yep.
All right, my number 4, Grant. Talked about BioWare. Oh, we need to talk about these guys. My number 4, Grant. It's just them.
It's Xbox.
It's just Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that was my number 2, by the way.
That's your number 2? Well, I
That's
guess
my
we can
number
talk about that too. What are you doing? Like, I mean, you plan on coming out with the Xbox Prime, the next console. Are you still into console gaming, though? I don't know. It doesn't feel like you're still into console gaming. I mean, I understand PC gaming. Okay. You probably excelled at that, but console gaming? I don't think so. Because, I mean, like, everything is available or will be available on the Sony PlayStation.
Correct.
Gears of War, where is that at? I mean, your DEI practices actually affected Gears of War 5. You gave us a shit product then.
Yep.
And
there was a time, and I remember this. There's a picture out. It was Nintendo. It was GameCube, PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, and Xbox. All at their show, to present their games and stuff like that.
That was a good
right there.
Good time of gaming right there, dude.
Right there, and that was also the peak of the, I would say, of the fight, the war, because everybody was Nintendo still cared about their graphics at that time, and they're trying to be innovative, and now they don't really care about that anymore.
PlayStation 2 at the end of the day, I think, whooped ass.
It's PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 is still the greatest system ever. I don't care what anybody says.
I mean, it was a great golden age of gaming because of the games we got in those different aspects. PlayStation 2 was just still on top of the pedestal there.
My point I'm trying to make is there was a time when Microsoft had a sense of pride. Because even Bill Gates came out and said, we're going to take over the gaming world. You know what I mean? And they did for a little. And I'm not going to sit there and say they took over, but they took a bunch of chunk. They took a chunk out of it. They put a flag in the ground and said, this is ours. And by saying this is ours, they had games like Gears of War. They had games like Halo that if you only wanted to play these games, there's only one system you had to buy to get it.
Listen, dog.
And what they've done now. Can
I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Jump in here. Dude, back in the Halo 1 to 3 era, in that little era, when they Microsoft usually just could come out there with a Halo 2 reveal or Halo 3 reveal, drop that and just walk away.
Yep, that's it.
With swag and everything. Because they bam. Oh, it's Halo.
Yeah.
You can't touch us. We got Halo.
That's right.
So
my thing is this. So they're not worried about a new system. They're not worried about their IP. So the point I made to somebody else is, and I didn't get into an argument, but I was sitting there saying, Nintendo, like I made the comment that Nintendo is going to do whatever they want to do, because he was like, well, people don't have to buy a Nintendo if they want to play those games. They can just pirate them and play the ROMs. And I was like, well, how many people know how the fuck to do that? Like, how many people know how to pirate these games? You know what I mean? Like my nephew is 11. I guarantee he doesn't know how to pirate these games. Now, there's probably a percentage of people who does, but it's not enough to where it's going to hurt Nintendo. If you want to play Mario, if you want to play Zelda, if you want to play Metroid, you have to buy a Nintendo Switch. Got to. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're not going to find it on any other thing. Sure, you can pirate it, but only 0.1% of people know how to do that. I know how to do that. But I'm not going to sit there and I don't like playing Nintendo games on my PC. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to play it on the Switch. I want to play it on what it's made for, So my point is Xbox, I'm saying all this to say this. Xbox has waved the white flag. They're done, man. They have put the flag in the ground and saying, you know what, guys? We're giving all our IP to everybody else. Because why would I want... Here's the thing is, if the PlayStation 5 Pro is better than the Xbox, why would I want to buy an Xbox when I can play it on a superior system?
And you know what else makes this worse? When it comes to studios they bought,
yeah,
Activision.
Yeah.
Bethesda,
Yeah.
they belong to them.
Yeah. What they should have done from the very beginning is shut that shit down. You can only play Diablo on Xbox. You want to play Diablo, you can only play it on Xbox. That's it. I don't give a damn. I don't care. Here's the thing is, at some point you have to say, I don't care about, because, you're going to lose money. You're a $1 billion company. You're a multi-billion dollar company. 10, 20, $30 million is like wiping your ass with a $10 bill to them. You know,
all right. This is where we talked about this when it came to like the competition stuff. This is where the competition comes into play by just making those exclusives to your console and or PC, of course, also. Mm-hmm. But you're talking about your competition and that competitive drive that makes you produce better quality
games,
stuff.
Man. That's it, man.
But that is no longer there.
There was a time
of where the road they're heading down. I don't know if they're going to change it, but I think they should. But they're heading down a road that they're saying that we don't need to be competitive in the console market.
There was a time, and this is a little off the beaten path, and this just talks about how it used to be. And some people will know this. Some people might be a little bit younger. The year was 1996, 97, 98, and 99.
Man, those were some good years.
The companies were WCW and WWE. And this was called the Attitude Era. Hulk Hogan and the NWO on one side. You had them bringing reality. You didn't know, like, here's the thing is, now everybody knows wrestling's fake. You know, everybody knows it's scripted and all this other stuff. But then there wasn't a lot of magazines out that just told everything that was going on. So when somebody got beat up with a lead pipe, you're like, oh shit, did he really get beat up with a lead? Because it was more real. Like, it wasn't like WWF had this thing where they would have like, oh, it's the Goon. He was a hockey player. That was his gimmick. He was a hockey player wrestler. Like, that was childish, you know? Oh, it's a plumber. Oh, whatever. You had people showing up in the back in the parking lot, pulling out their limos and beating the shit out of people. You know, you're like, oh man, that's badass. Like, is that real? You know, then it forced Vince McMahon, a man who thrived in kiddie entertainment, plumbers and eat your prayers and say your eat your prayers and say your vitamins. Say your prayers and eat your vitamins and the Macho Man, you know, all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Then he started getting Stone Cold Steve Austin flipping off the bird, girls showing their tits in the arena, thong and bra and panty matches and stuff. Why do you think they did that? Because it put eyes on his product. It took people away from the other, and the other company had to do something similar, right? Because if they started losing audience, well, then they had to do something, and it went all the way back and forth until one company won. Xbox has just put up the white flag and said, you know what, guys? I'm tired. I can't do it anymore. Here you go. We're going to be around, but this is what we're going to do. We're just going to make games, and whoever wants them, fuck it. If you want to put it on the Amiga CD, the CDI, Philips CDI, go for it. We don't care. it's Virtual Boy, go for it.
When I saw that Hyperlink, I think the company's called, come out with the Xbox PlayStation 5 controller, I was like, this is perfect. Because Xbox is pretty much just going to give everything to PS5.
Just give it to them.
So just create your own controller that looks just like the DualSense. I thought it was a perfect product at the perfect time. I don't know what they're doing, dude. I don't know what roadmap or game plan they have when they, even after announcing the Xbox Prime, you know, why am I going to buy that console is a question I'm asking myself.
Why would you need to buy that console if you already have one that the games are coming to?
Yeah.
Because eventually what they're not understanding is there's also another competitor to the market, and that's the Steam Deck. So if you're putting your games on Steam as well, Valve, if you're putting your games on Steam and all this other stuff, why would I need your system? I got 3 other systems that can play them that are probably more superior. That's right, buddy. The cream rises to the top, brother. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Was that on your list? That's my number 2. But that was also my Macho Man impression.
All right, so you got new number. All right. So what's
where are we at? Number 4?
Number 4?
Number 4, number 3. What was your number 4? What was your number 4?
I think that was my number 4.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, so let me just go to number 3. Here, let me count. 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Number 3. Anyway, Grant, Number 3 is all right. There's one I didn't put on here because I wanted to save them for our rant. So I'm not going to talk about them this top 10. All right. There's one that I wanted to save for our rant. But anyway, I want to bring up Firewalk Studios. Well, excuse me, they don't exist anymore.
Oh, what happened to them?
Well, they developed this game called Concord, and it decided to just be average, nothing different than the rest of their competitors. And they also decided to design some shitty game design character, or when it came to their characters, design shitty characters that appeal to no one. And bam, now their fucking studio doesn't exist anymore.
Well, surely they didn't spend a lot of money on
$500 million on a game that didn't go anywhere. That had maybe about 100 players on max on Steam, and God knows probably like another 100 on Sony PlayStation 5. So Firewalk Studios.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is if you say those numbers out loud, and then think, how many people work for Firewalk Studios? That means their own people that work for the company weren't even playing it.
Well, I think those were the only people playing it on Steam.
Oh, man.
All right. So Firewalk Studios, or what I could like to call them Firewoke Studios.
Concord was terrible.
Yes, Concord was terrible. And yes, Nelson, you're right. Steam operating system is coming up. It is better than Windows.
Man.
That's why all those new handhelds that are coming out, like Lenovo or whatever it's called, and of course all the new Steam Decks, they're going to the Steam operating system because that's how people are going to play their games. Valve has taken over. Valve literally does nothing besides.
I knew eventually it would happen. I knew it eventually that Windows would be taken over.
Yeah.
But for a while, Windows was perfect. Windows was great, and you're right. I never thought I would be alive long enough to see the fall of Microsoft, but I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, Firewalk. Well, I mean, you don't exist anymore, so I can't really put them there.
Firewoke.
Yeah, they just don't exist anymore because they decided to just make not even a mid game, just a shit game. And this was, if you looked at their mission statement on their website, which doesn't exist anymore either, I don't think, was all about the DEI, diversity, inclusion. So they hired a bunch of people that didn't know what the fuck they were doing, and they didn't hire merit base. And this is one of the aspects that's going to come to your studio if you take DEI and you hug it and keep it. It's going to fail.
Open doors, closed doors. You're right. That's right. And the thing about it is you're seeing a lot of this. Number 3. This one hurts my heart. This one hurts my heart, buddy. Square Enix.
Oh, you put them on there, man. We got a whole segment
Square
for
Enix.
them.
It's fine, but I got to talk about them right now because they're. I hate it because here's the thing: but Final Fantasy VII was a great game. Final Fantasy VII came out 30 years ago. I don't give a damn if they remade a new game. That's the problem. Is they're surviving off remakes and remasters. The last games I can remember that I played from Square Enix were Star Ocean, which came out in 1998, which is a remake or a remaster. Final Fantasy VII, which came out in 1997, which is a remaster and a remake. Dragon Age, which came out like 1989. Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest, which came out like 1989 or 1991. It's a remake. So my question to you, Ed, is when was the last? I mean, we said this before. We talked about Final Fantasy IX being the last really good Final Fantasy that made you feel good. I'm talking about just from top to bottom. I'm talking about from start to finish, locked in, loaded, that made you feel like a Final, because Final Fantasy VIII was not as good as Final Fantasy VII. That's not Final Fantasy VIII's fault. Because it's kind of like the guy that's coaching for Alabama now. When you follow the best game ever, it's kind of hard to live up to the hype. Get what I'm saying? So when you come in, everybody wants you to be undefeated. You're not as good as the GOAT. You're not. But Final Fantasy IX, that's why you always want to be the guy after the guy. You want to be the game after the game. You don't want to be the next game. You want to be the game after the game. Because that way people can't compare you.
I will actually challenge you on this.
You will? Okay. Well, hold on. We'll talk about that. Well, I'll let you challenge me. But 1 second. Because see, Square Enix also made a game called Marvel's Avengers. And boy, was that terrible.
That's fucking trash.
So they tried. They tried. Don't get me wrong. They tried. Now, people are like, ooh, but they made Tomb Raider and stuff like that. No. They just took IDOS and Crystal Dynamics IP and, put their spin on it and put their name on it, right? But then they made a shitty game called Babylon's Fall. Ed, do you remember Babylon's Fall?
1 second, I was talking to my daughter.
Okay. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember Babylon's Fall? Yeah, what an ass game.
You remember?
Like if you could put a video game and a BBL right beside each other, they would be the same thing because they're both ass. And this is coming from one of the greatest studios of RPGs ever.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy VII Remake is a great game. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, great game, and I'm sure the next one will be just as good. But it's not a new game. Which goes back to what we're talking about, people being lazy. You're being lazy as fuck, and you're not being innovative. What happened to the innovative? Ed, that run from like 1997 to like 2001 for Square Enix, Squaresoft, was legendary.
It was.
They were putting out banger after banger after banger. I'm talking about, you had, what was Vagrant Story. Then you had Musashi. Then you had Xenogears. And I mean, I'm just about game after game after game.
On a game during that time, late 90s. You were going to
buy it. You didn't even have to look. And here's the thing is, and people were like, oh, well, you just said Final Fantasy VIII was a good game. No, Final Fantasy VIII was a great game. It just came after an even better game.
After that's the problem. Legendary game, God tier game.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not that game's fault. Maybe they should have saved that story for another Final Fantasy or something. I don't know. They try to do something. Here's the thing is, that game's problem is they try to do something too different. They try to, instead of taking the wheel and keeping it circular, they tried to make the edges a little square, a little octagon, right? And it wasn't moving as good. It wasn't moving as well as it should have. But my point is it's a legendary company, and I don't think. Now, here's the thing is, I'm in no way saying Square Enix is going out of business and they're going to be shut down, because, dude, when you have this kind of legendary status behind you, you're going to live forever. I hope so. I hope so. I could be wrong, but I hope so. But the problem is the innovative and the creativity behind it is gone. It's gone. Just because you can't just make a guy with a sword and throw some chocobos in there and call it Final Fantasy anymore. You just can't do it. You gotta have something innovative. You gotta have something different. You have to have something completely out of this world to bring those people back.
We brought this up last, or maybe a podcast before, when it came to Square Enix. They need to finish Final Fantasy VII, whatever you're going to call the third one,
and then move on from it.
And then Final Fantasy 17, which would be a perfect time, 10 Final Fantasy 7s later, perfect time to give us the next 7.
Yeah, sure.
Have movies made of it. Have remakes 20, 30 years from now about it. Give us the next generational RPG that everyone will talk about for the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
It's time to do that. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they need to do it. It's time to up it. It's time to do it, and 17 would be the perfect time.
Yeah, Nelson's right. From 93 to 2005, if it had Squaresoft on it, it was 8 or better. Easily. I mean, they hold the greatest game, Chrono Trigger, of all time.
Let's not talk too much about Square Enix, dude. You're wasting a lot of topics.
I want to run the next one.
Going into one of our segments. All
right. Go ahead.
What was this? Was this your number 4?
Number 3.
All right, number 2. Let me pull it up.
My number 2's, so go into your number 1, because my number 2 was Microsoft. So you're going to do back to back.
Okay. All right. My number 2, Grant. Let me pull this up.
We probably got the same number 1, so this will be good.
Yeah, we'll have the same number 1.
Oh yeah, Obsidian.
Okay. This is the one that had got a lot of backlash from, a lot of their producers or directors coming out on social media and being like completely fucking left field crazy fucks when it came to their ideologies. And Obsidian, of course, is the game that's about to be released here soon, as you're aware. Avowed, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
So Avowed, which is their, I guess, next magnum opus.
They're claiming it's going to be the creme de la creme, but you can't say stuff that they've been saying about it and it fall on its face, because this doing stuff like that will bankrupt your company.
Has anyone seen the gameplay of Avowed? And you're telling me that game is going to be the next big one, the next.
Well, it looks like PlayStation 3.
It looks like PlayStation 3, but dude, give me a modded Skyrim over that crap. Like, there's nothing new. I mean, like, me looking at Avowed is me looking at Concord. Like, what are you giving me that's going to be different than all these other games in that genre? And then let's talk about all those other games we saw when it came to being FPS looking, first person looking, like the guys who are making all those creators from Doom and all these other games are making that one. I can't remember.
Doom, Dark Ages. Oh my god! And that's coming out. All that's coming out.
It's not even just Doom. It's those other games that look fantastic. We showed trailers of them.
Dawn Walker, my lord!
But when it comes to FPS, like, there's nothing new that Avowed is. I'm just not excited for it, and I'm not excited for all the from their little mentality when they coming on social media and talking about all this, like stupid woke bullcrap is what it is.
Yeah.
And
they made the mistake.
They're you see all these messages from their like Discord or whatever their thing is, and it's not giving me a fuzzy feeling that they're really concentrated on this new game Avowed.
And you got their shields. You got their shields that the same ones that argue with like Smash JT and all them. You got them coming out.
GameSpot, they're coming out like, whoa, look at this gameplay footage from this trailer. Anyone with two eyes watches that fucking trailer, and they're like, okay, this is like what 10 years ago, fucking Elder Scrolls. Like, what are you giving me that's going to be different? Well, it's multiplayer. Is it? Like, it still looks like shit. Like, it's not different looking to me than all this awesome shit that's coming out here soon that looks really good, that looks revolutionary.
Yeah. And plus it's got, and also the people who've been like I said, the ones that have been arguing with like Smash JT and Grums and all of them have been shilling for this game big time. But they've kind of given themselves the kiss of death, because he made the comment, and I wish people would stop making this comment because it has never really worked out well. As they said, the infamous, if you don't like our game, don't play it, don't buy it.
Okay. But Obsidian is behind Outer Worlds. They have number 2 coming out. I mean, Outer Worlds was actually pretty decent. I like that game. But they were behind Star Wars and the Old Republic. They were part of making that game. They have a really good track record. I mean, they were known before they announced Avowed. They had some games before that they were trash too. But they're one of those companies that you would look forward to when they had a game release.
Yeah,
Avowed is not catching my attention. This is not.
No, not at all.
And they're just. I had to put them at number 2 because all that gatekeeping they did for Avowed from all the publications. I was just sick and tired of it because you're lying to me.
I'll go ahead and tell you.
You're lying to the gamer with 2 eyes. That when you're telling me when I'm looking at this gameplay trailer that this is awesome, that this is revolutionary, and you're fucking gatekeeping for these guys, like, you're just lying. I mean, it's just obvious lies right to a gamer's face.
What's going to happen will be the same thing that happened with Dragon Age. It's going to be the same playbook. First things you're going to see are going to be high scores from IGN and PC Gamer and all these other GameSpot. They'll give them 9s and 10s. They'll give them 9s and 10s.
What it is, it's going to be a select. Yeah, it's going to be selective when it comes to the reviewers.
Same ones.
Early reviews.
Correct.
It's going to be selective.
You'll get 9s and 10s, and then the real reviews will start coming out on Steam, and of course they'll be playing. They'll be review bombed. This will be the excuse, and then they'll probably start locking up the reviews.
All right, Grant.
Yep.
Damn right. All right, Grant. You ready?
Yep.
Just go ahead and we might as well just say it. You might as well. We already
Let's
know
go.
what the number one is. The
Yep.
used to be. Oh man, we saw this. This company's coming out with another game.
Well, hold on. You skipped number 2. What's your number 2?
This was my number 2.
What's your number 2? Oh, what was your number 3?
What was it? I think it was. Let me pull up my images.
I might have messed up. Okay, it's fine.
Your number 2 was Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
Yep. 3. We talked. We talked Konami. 2. We talked Bethesda. We talked Blizzard. We talked EA.
Okay.
Firewalk. You gave Square Enix. Ubisoft, Gearbox, Insomniac, BioWare, or Ubisoft is going to be our number 1. And
number 1 is motherfucking Ubisoft.
Yep, fucking Ubisoft. Now you put them on the damn board.
Now you want to talk about a company who has wiped their ass with their own body. They have used their hands to wipe the diarrhea off and then they wipe their ass with their hand and then decided to rub it all over the walls. That's what they've decided to do. That's what they've done. Not only has their company fallen, but their stocks have fallen as well. Whenever your company is shit and your stocks are shit, it's not a good recipe for success. Ubisoft used to be a name for great games like Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy, was it Division? Is that what it was? That one? Assassin's Creed, early Assassin's Creed. But boy, they started hitting. But after about 2000, what you want to say, 21?
Well, first, Grant.
When you say
first,
go ahead.
Let's talk about Ubisoft when it comes to our podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think almost every other episode, if not 75 to 80% of our episodes, has Ubisoft mentioned in them.
Has a negative story, not something that we've made up, something that they've done.
It all started with, I guess, some other stuff, but the main focus was Assassin's Creed Shadows, of them delaying the game, not once, twice.
But twice.
And their choice and their lies up front, and their, I guess, stealing other, I guess, when it comes to the Japanese history, like when they stole the flag of this reenactment group in Japan and they put it on their collector's edition artwork.
Yeah. Then they put that, what was it, that temple symbol or whatever
gate.
That. Yeah.
A broken Torii gate, dude. I understand some people might not know history.
That is a symbol from Hiroshima.
I'm a World War II history buff. And I'm just when it comes to that period, I'm a history buff on that. When I saw that Torii gate, broken, damaged Torii gate collector's edition item, I was like, surely not. Surely this is just a joke or someone memeing something, right? Or making fun of Ubisoft. That was 100% fucking real. And then you're having a made up legendary samurai. He's a retainer. You're creating a legend. You're changing history. You know what? Let's go back some more because I want to talk about their historians they got for this game that we talked about.
Oh yeah.
Thomas Lockley, right?
Surely he's Japanese. No, he's not.
Great. All right. So this guy came on an Ubisoft history podcast. They actually have those, but he came on.
Do they really?
Listen, dude. Because they talk about Assassin's Creed, you know how they try to incorporate real history. This guy came on one of their podcasts and was talking about the historical connection of, what was his name? 𝐽𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐽 and all this stuff. And then when he was asked in an interview, he was asked, you don't have any connection with Ubisoft when it came to their developing of the historical background for this game? He said no. But it turns out he was one of their main fucking sources for this game. And it was a white guy from the West.
I'm sure,
and then
when
he fell and he got all right. So
it always is.
We're gonna go through the lines here. Okay. So Thomas Lockley, this motherfucker disappeared, dude. This motherfucker disappeared when he got called out on his historical references of 𝐽𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐽 and how he's a legendary samurai. Anyway, God. After that, Ubisoft was like, and all the game pubs were like, oh, fuck, what do we do? And then they pulled this, you know what? We need to find someone in Japan that can back our revision of history for this Assassin's Creed Shadows game. So they grabbed this Japanese guy, and everyone was like, okay, Japanese historian, right?
Uh-oh. He got a little more clout.
This motherfucker turns out to be a damn communist. He's legit part of the Communist Party. You can't make this shit up.
Yeah, I know.
And this guy even said that his stuff is it's not even accurate. Like, he literally said his stuff wasn't accurate. It was just...
He just walked in and said, man, I just gave you a bunch of shit and made it up, and you paid me for it.
So Ubisoft, all those publications ran the cover for him again for this guy. And then all that shit backfired. This was just...
Well, this is okay. So let's start from the top again. So they want you to believe, and I've said this, we said this in episode 4 of our podcast, I guarantee it. They want you to believe, and this is part of life. They came out and said that Yasuke was a legendary samurai, okay, which is the art of Bushido, okay. But the thing is he's only trained for 12 months. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you train a martial arts for 12 months, you're not beating people who've trained their whole entire lives at all. Like his enemies, these samurai have been training since they were kids. They're adults. They've been training for 20, 30 years to be being a samurai. You just don't wake up and say, I'm a fucking samurai. Like, you got to earn that. I know. Think about this.
History.
Okay. It'd be like this, Ed. I've studied, and the reason why I know is because I've done jiu-jitsu for 6 years. But let's just say this. Let's just say I did taekwondo for a year, right? And I walk into a random taekwondo dojo and I challenge the master. Oh yeah, I'm whooping I'm kicking the shit out of him, right? I'm beating the shit out of him, right? I'm going there as a yellow belt at that time.
Because you said you were
orange belt.
You think you are?
I know, because I told it. I looked at him and said, "Sir,"
and everything, right?
I know. I looked at him and I said, "You know what, motherfucker? I trained for 12 months."
Well, the history written before you entered that studio, Grant, to challenge that black belt, was that you were a black belt master. So obviously that has to be true.
Oh, yeah.
So that means in turn that you
I said it
that good, right?
I've said it, but I don't have the belt, nor do I have the longevity enough to say that. But I can say that. I can say it.
Wikipedia, Grant, we can change that.
That's true.
And
that is true.
Make sure no one else can touch it. Hold on.
So the only people, let's just be honest,
which they did. They did do this. Right. So not only two of their, I guess, experts to back up their claims were complete trash and failed. Then they go to the Wikipedia page on it, and you cannot touch that motherfucker. They locked that. They changed history right on Wikipedia and locked that motherfucker up.
Yep. So long story short is no. The only people he killed, if he did, do I think Yasuke was real? Possibly. I don't know. I wasn't. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Real. The only people that he killed were peasants or samurai who were already dead, or they had no legs, or they were flailing for their life. Right? He just put them out of their misery, so to speak. But he did not go one-on-one. He did not go one-on-one with any samurai at all. Not at all. Not with 12 months of training.
Legendary fight of Yasuke in records. I mean, I mean, no one really knew. I mean, people, they saw anime made about him, right? They made an anime about him.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine.
But
hey, it's anime. Really, you can do whatever you want with it.
He was until all this gatekeeping coming around. Like, oh my God, he is a legendary samurai.
Ed, do you know that I went to Brazil and I fought Royce Gracie?
Yep.
Whooped his ass.
I did. Yeah.
Beat his ass. I mean, I fucking choked him out. I walked in that bitch and choked his ass out.
Wikipedia later.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I was in UFC 1 too. I don't know. They didn't have, this is before the tape though. This is before the actual video. I was in the preliminaries. They didn't quite show it. I was beating people up, but they just didn't quite. They're like, you know what? You're too good for the show. That's what they told me.
Let's keep adding to Ubisoft. So anyway, so you had all those hiccups. You had the Tory Gate hiccup. You had the taking a reenactment group's flag, and they had to, pull that back. And then not only that, dude, they got the Japanese, the Diet, their Congress or governing or legislative branch, they got involved with this shit. They got involved with this stuff because how crazy this everything revolving around this game. And then they delayed it to, they delayed the first time to change some of that stuff. But now people are talking about, well, why do you have the rice fields right at level with the water and stuff like that? They're going to get flooded. They don't put rice fields right at the level of rivers. And I mean, that can be very, I guess, nitpicking. But there are so many different horrible inaccuracies. On top of that, you made a legendary samurai out of some random guy during that period. When you have so many
Here's
choices.
the main question that nobody's asking. Here's the main question that nobody asked. Where the fuck was the CEO the whole time?
What was that guy's name? He has some French name. 𝐸𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐷?
I don't know, but I picture him. This is how I picture him. I picture him laying in bed with footy pajamas.
Not doing shit.
Not knowing what the fuck's going on. Like he has no clue what's going on. His because here's the thing is, for people who don't know, not only is he the CEO, he's also a majority shareholder. That's why he's not been kicked out, because you can't kick him out when you own all the shares. But the thing about it is like all this his company is crumbling underneath his feet. He's over there fucking watching Blue's Clues in his fucking footy pajamas. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this guy doing? I imagine him eating fucking cereal in bed and just fucking not knowing what's going on. Like, how do you not know what's going on? And how do you not step in and fix it if you care about your company?
All right, Grant. I'm trying to find it.
It should have been at some point. It should have been some point. He should have said, you know what? We're not making this game. There's too much shit behind it. We're scrapping it. We'll work on because they're already working on another one. So we'll move on to that
Grant.
one.
Not only did they delay it twice, this is like the cherry on top, dude. They came out with they first came out the delay, sorry gamers and stuff like that. And then they came out the second delay into March 20th, right, of this year. And they were like, sorry, we're just trying to make the perfect game. Well, Grant, you know what day March 20th is in Japanese?
Oh my God. Why would that?
March
you can't
20th
make this up.
Marks the 30th anniversary of the most deadliest modern terrorist attack in Japanese history. And that's the Tokyo subway sarin attack. These motherfuckers, dude, like, they have no concept. Like, who the fuck is making decisions at Ubisoft, dude?
I know. It's like they're playing Rocket, Sock, and Robot, but they're kicking each other in the balls instead. That's what they're doing there. And Nelson's right. 𝐬𝐝𝐾 has been there for 18 months. Ain't no one getting a samurai title just being there long enough for a couple. That's right. Exactly. Not at all. You are not beating you are not, first of all, to be a samurai, you have to, it's hard. They don't not everybody just becomes a samurai. You have to like be like a peasant. You have to be like a student. You have to be a student. You don't just say, hey guys, I'm here to be a samurai. Yeah. I'm here to train Bushido. That's not how it works. You got to be chosen. They just didn't allow you to come in there and do it. A lot of times you had to be part of the family, like part of the clan. They didn't just let you in. It's not like it's like the mafia. You have to be fucking. You can't just be like somebody like me. Like, hey, I want to join the Italian mafia. Hey, how you doing?
Dude, this whole Ubisoft rant is going to go in as its own video. It's not even going to be a top 10. It's just going to be about Ubisoft.
Like, could you imagine somebody like me try to join the Gambino crime family? Hey, how you doing? oh, the gabagool over here. Like, get out of here.
Pizza hey, that we played earlier.
Yeah, no. They'll be like, hey, get this fasheka out of here. Right. Hey.
All right, Grant. All right, folks, to close this also, Ubisoft had to lay off employees. I think they closed one of their branches. They are in the middle of actually a bankruptcy probably right now. And they're probably going to get bought out here soon by what we're assuming is Tencent, a Chinese company.
They should. And they should. And I hope they do.
Those Chinese companies are wanting to get into the West. They want this would be their stepping stone right here, dude. They want it so bad.
This would do it.
They want it so bad. But we sit here and say like, oh, I hope Ubisoft is owned by a Chinese company. Well, sorry. Would I rather them be somewhere else? Yeah. But it's their own damn fault.
I would rather see. Here's the thing: I would rather see this IP go to somebody who can do it good than it just be continuing being shit like this.
Grant, holy shit,
simple.
Dude! We're at 2.5 hours.
And if the Chinese companies can do it,
we're at 2.5 hours. We got to keep rolling.
We said it was going to be long. We said it.
We got to keep rolling.
We said it. What did we say? We're going to throw our nuts on the table and let it go.
Grant, last subject. Our last subject is our Disgruntled Gamer Rant.
Oh.
And Grant kind of already talked
We got
about
two more. So we got the Game Gambit too.
I know, but this is our subject of our Disgruntled Gamer Rant. It's not a console, it's not a game, it's not an accessory. It is Square Enix.
It is Square Enix. Sorry, I'll say the same stuff again just for the video purposes because it's true.
Okay, Square Enix. They are adopting. If they not, they have been working. You know, this kind of coincides with our main subject, which is, you know, what they're not a Western game company, okay, but they are.
But they operate like one
in their U.S. offices and everything. They are majorly going into DEI. All right, and it's not a good thing. It is not a good thing. Yeah, Nelson, I gotta put this up. Nelson says, I think they start selling IP to drag themselves along until they are worthless. I mean, you're right, Nelson. They are.
Yeah. This is what I mean. Here's the thing is, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm also not an idiot. I know how numbers work and I know how companies work. Right now, Tencent can come in and actually overpay just because it's not a lot of money to them. They can come in and say, hey, we'll give you $400 million for it. That's being very generous. For their company and say, hey, we'll take it. Or they could say, you know what? Next year, we'll give you 30.
All right. So back to Square Enix. Square Enix is a company that has lost its magic majorly.
Boy, has it. It's kind of sad to see.
Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciated the Star Ocean Second Story remake or remaster, or whatever it was, the HD 2D remake, right? I appreciated that. It was fun. They brought back memories, and they just, you know, they didn't change anything of the game. They just added the, you know, updated backgrounds and stuff like that. Great HD 2D remake.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about something else too. Dragon Quest III, another solid HD 2D remake. But stop with the fucking the AB body type shit.
Stupid.
Just put
I had to like look and see which one was which.
Guess what? You're going to have to start doing that now, especially in America.
Exactly.
Because there is a certain executive order that is only identifying as there are two genders, male and female. So, Western game devs, including Square Enix, when it comes to their U.S. office, get fucking used to it. We're going back to common sense.
Or you could say hero or what was wrong with hero or heroine? What was wrong with that? I literally had to get up to my screen to TV, see which one was the male. Like they both looked the same. Like I had to get up. It took me
false sense, dog.
Well, I went like this. I was like looking at my TV with my eyes crossed like this. I was like, which one's the male? I had to Google which one was the male.
Square Enix is like, some of Squaresoft especially. My fondest childhood memories was playing the first Final Fantasy. That was one of, besides Zelda and a few others, that was one of the first NES games. It was the first RPG game I played was Final Fantasy 1. And I just built from that. When the Super Nintendo came out, they came with Final Fantasy 4, which is 2 in Japan, 2 in the US. Final Fantasy 4, great. 𝐃𝐨𝐶, King, great characters, man. It just built upon that. Final Fantasy 6.
The story was phenomenal.
Final Fantasy 3 in the US.
Oh my God, a masterpiece.
Chrono Trigger. I mean, we can talk about that all damn day. But that run, dude, of the 90s for Squaresoft at the time was just magical. It was just magic. It
was untouchable.
Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore. I mean, so many, dude. Like so many.
And don't get me wrong, there was other RPGs that came out made by other companies, but they felt like knockoffs. Like they felt like it's kind of like if you, it's like Square Enix was Nike, and these were Bugle Boy. The other ones were like, you know what I mean?
And again, it was just a fantastic time. But then Square Enix, they've had some good games here and there since then, but they haven't made that. I would say they haven't made that Final Fantasy 7 type of game yet. Or even, honestly, I could say 6 and Chrono Trigger. You know what I mean? Those magic games that when you were a kid were just like, there's nothing that can get better than this. You know what I mean?
You can tell, or used to could, when a company would try. Like you can be like, man, this was a good. This
Some
man,
companies
everything was
succeed,
great about
dude,
this,
you know?
but yeah, and the thing about it is like they haven't even tried since 9. To me, they haven't even tried.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they tried a little bit with 16, but it's like they still left a lot of things They still left a lot of things out that they could have done better.
Yeah, like the RPG mechanics in 16, and you know they
Yeah, it's like they
too.
worked on one thing and forgot the
16 was
others.
like there, right? It was a
Yeah.
cool, awesome main character, badass, right?
Yeah,
But there's just missing some core concepts, I would say, or core things that could have made it really good. But yeah, Square Enix, dude, it's just it's a shame that where they are now. I mean, they'll put out some good games here and there, but there's nothing that has been just wow, holy crap.
yeah.
You know,
But the thing about it is this wouldn't be a problem if all their games were just good. They used to put out great games. That's the thing. And all they've done lately is put out good games.
Listen, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, what's it? The Rise of the Tomb Raider. Like the Tomb Raider Survivor Series 1 and 2. Third one was trash. I didn't like that third one. But the Tomb Raider ones, they were good, dude. Like I liked that style they did. And you know, it was not, you know, it wasn't the Lara Croft from the Netflix series. She was pretty. Like that Survivor Series Lara Croft felt like Lara Croft a little bit. There's some things missing that I was kind of like whatever, but Rise of the Tomb Raider is weirdly where they hit the nail on the head because she became the Lara Croft you knew, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you know, they did good with that stuff, but you know, again, 3 was trash. The third one was trash. But like they still, I mean, I don't know what to say, dude. Like they just haven't gave me a game that I was like, that's Square Enix or, you know, the Squaresoft Lode. You know, that's what I'm talking about.
And maybe it's our fault, man. Maybe all the people who were involved in those projects
from the 90s.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like maybe. I mean, the thing about it is maybe those people are no longer
But
here.
the thing is, I can pick up Chrono Trigger right now and play the fuck out of it.
Exactly, and the thing about it is, it's still better than 90% of the shit that's out now.
I could literally turn it on right now and start from fucking scratch and play that game. That's how. I mean, like, how have they not made another Chrono Trigger true sequel? Don't fucking tell me Chrono Cross. Don't ever fucking mention Chrono Cross as a sequel because that is not a fucking sequel. I don't even look at that as anything.
Well, I'm at the point now where I don't want them to, just because of what they've made lately. And don't get me, oh God, I know. I'm not saying Final Fantasy Remaster is not a good game. It's not a new game. We're talking about a sequel, a new game. That's what we're talking about here. They're not capable of. The bar would be too high. I don't think they could reach the bar. I don't think they can do that. So I'd rather them just leave it alone. Dude, honestly, just do a 2D HD remaster.
That's what I'm talking
I'd be
about.
happy with it.
That'd
be it.
That's all you have to do.
Don't give me a sequel. Don't make no more story because I'm sure you'll add some stupid shit.
2D remake, but keep everything the same.
Yeah, that's all I need.
You don't gotta fucking touch anything. Maybe keep the 3DS.
You don't have to add extra. No, I don't want any extra dynamics
like the 3DS
and shit.
endings and extra content from the 3DS. Keep that. That was good.
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
Just don't fucking don't add shit that because I'm a better writer than all those guys. I want to add this to the story. Don't fucking give me that shit because you're not you're not better than those guys that created that game.
I'm gonna make Marlon and Luca lesbians.
You're not.
Like, no.
All right. So don't pretend like you are better than those guys. Yeah. Those guys created the masterpiece.
And you never will be. And they never will be.
Fucking forever was Chrono Trigger. So don't tell me you're going to make it better. All right. Just give me HD 2D. Don't touch anything. Just.
Yep. And then who's going to design it? Because Toriyama's dead. So
you just have to mess with the backgrounds, bro. Just mess with the backgrounds. Make it more pixelated attacks or something, you know. But don't do anything else. I mean, just touch it, though. Touch it. I do want him to touch it because you're...
But touch it with gloves. Yeah. Don't touch it with your bare, dirty-ass doo-doo hands. Like, fucking... Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
But we don't want to make this... I don't want to make this too long for a gamer rant. So, Square Enix, you got to rise. You got to rise.
Get it together.
Rise from the ashes.
And people are like, Final Fantasy 7 Remastered is classic. No, it's not a new game.
Stop listening to that one fucking woke idiot in your management offices or something like that. Tell him to shut the fuck up, get rid of DEI, and go back to your core.
It's a new game. It is a new game because it's different. No, it's not, because I can tell you what's going to happen in the next game. You know why? Because it's not a new game.
Go back to your core principles. Okay?
Yeah. Go back to where y'all smoking a pack of cigarettes a day and fucking talking about pussy. Like, that's what y'all need to do. Go back to them times.
All right. That was a Disgruntled Gamer Rant. Square Enix. Okay, Grant. The Game Gambit. Game Gambit.
That's
all right. So
it.
Game Gambit, we just pick a random game from any era, any console, and it could be anything. We just talk about it. If we don't know anything about it, if you guys know stuff about it, let us know.
Let us know if you've ever played it.
If not, we'll just do research on it. All right, Grant. Let's see. Let me go and ask AI to give us a random game.
We're going on 3 hours, so give us something we know. These people are probably tired of hearing our fucking voice. Like, God. Hey, but if we're getting through your work, hey.
God.
We don't know it. Do we know it?
I don't know it.
There could be a possibility that I might. I just got to see what it is.
I played the other version of this, but I haven't played this. Let me just pull it up.
Pull it up. Let me see. I might can help you out.
So, okay. I think this is the version we're talking about. Let me pull it up. All right.
All right. Here we go.
All right, Grant, sharing it now. All right. This week's Game Gambit. Oh my gosh. The image is so blurry. 1 second.
Oh, God. Is that old?
Here. All right. I got this week's Game Gambit. Here we go. Let's see if this pulls up. I don't even know. All right. It's Championship Lode Runner. Came out on the PC NEC in 1980.
Good old Hudson Soft.
It was re-released on another PC console in 1984. But this was an enhanced version of the original Lode Runner. This is the championship version of Lode Runner.
The creator of Mylon's Secret Castle.
Hudson Soft. But I never played this. Have you played this?
I've never played this. I've never played Lode Runner.
All right, so let me pull up.
Let's look it up. Championship Lode Runner. Huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I want to see some gameplay, buddy.
There you go. You do that.
So it came re-released on NES. Let's see.
Oh God! What's funny is the graphics look like vomit compared to the cover. This is another game where the game looks nothing like the cover.
All right, ready? I want to share some gameplay.
So this game was on the Apple II, Commodore 64, and the IBM PC, 8-bit, 1983.
Yeah, well, this Championship Lode Runner, which came out on PC at 1985.
Okay.
So it's an upgraded version of that.
You put championship in front of it. It's got to be better.
Put the championship in front of it.
All right.
Ready?
All right. Let's see if it looks like the cover now. Let's go.
There's literally no music in this game.
The fuck is this?
This is Championship Lode Runner, Grant.
What's the point of the game? What do you got to do?
You're collecting minerals and scoring high? I don't know.
It's like you're standing on people. Like who are the purple people?
I don't know. There are other contestants against having to track.
What is this, like Blade Runner? Like is this is that supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger?
So the players control a character. You must navigate a series of levels, collecting all the gold pieces to advance. Enemy patrols the levels. I guess those are the purple people. Okay.
Hold on, you saw that? That motherfucker went off the screen and then came back up.
It's like Pac-Man, dude.
You saw that? He went off the game.
All right, so there's 50 levels,
Oh God!
And with different layouts, and you dig holes to trap enemies. Also, that's the point of the game. Also, you have to dig holes to trap enemies. And the holes refill after a certain amount of time. But there's other mechanics like disappearing floors, moving platforms, and vertical ladders. The game.
What is this? Is this the same game?
I have no idea, Grant.
What is this play? Is this on a Texas Instrument calculator?
NEC at this time, and it got messed up. It glitched out.
I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, this got volume.
Here we go.
I miss some old game sounds. What's that guy doing up there? He's having a seizure on the ladder.
All right, but the reception of Lode Runner, the game was well received for its time, adding depth to the puzzle platform genre.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I mean, you have to, I'm putting myself in the year 1985.
Yep. Not bad. Would you play that?
If I was in like 1983, 95, yeah, of course. I mean, because here's the thing is, you think these are the best graphics ever. Like, oh my God, like this is never going to get better than this.
And
like how he just fell in there, he just stands on top of
Games was the original developer.
They slapped that Hudson Soft B on there and
try to sell it.
Went to town with it.
All right, well, that's the Game Gambit Championship Lode Runner from 1985. The updated version of the original Lode Runner from 1983.
Oh God, I don't know if I want to see what the original one looks like.
No idea.
If this is the championship version, what's the other one look like?
All right, that was Game Gambit, and that's the podcast.
And that's the podcast. Man, oh yeah, almost 3 hours. The longest one we've done. We appreciate y'all being here, though. Ed, you got anything to close us out with? Anything to say?
All the audio forms will be on any podcasting platform you use, Spotify, Apple, whatever. Leave comments. If you guys have top 10s that you want us to do on random subjects, worst, best, whatever, just comment on any of those videos. Comment on this video on YouTube, or comment
Nelson,
on
Nelson, I know you got some good top 10s, Nelson. Drop them in there.
Back.
Give them to us.
Yeah, he's holding
come
back.
on. You got some good ones. Give them to us.
He dropped those Mega Man, those little Mega Man clips of the music. Yeah, that was good.
That's right. That was funny. We gave you a shout out, man. We played your videos at the beginning
of the podcast. Anyway, but yeah, like give us if you want a top 10 or you want us to do a rant on something, some random game. Just let us know.
I mean, that goes from anything from the Atari Jaguar to the Philips CDI. You want us to do Zelda, the Link of Gamelon? We can do that too.
God, do we have to?
The Wand of Gamelon. Legend of Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon. Hotel Mario, we got you.
No. Spare us, please. All right. Besides that, follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. We're on Rumble. We got to get that. We got to get that Facebook up, bro.
Oh, yeah. We're working on Facebook.
Put up a Facebook.
Oh, boy. I ain't been on Facebook.
I haven't touched my Facebook in years, dude.
I know. I know. Your pictures looks like you are when you graduated high school.
Facebooking. So I haven't messed with it since I was like my first tour in Iraq.
They're going to be like, damn, Ed don't look like that no more.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, dude. I don't know. That's but check us out.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Xbox, X, Twitter, YouTube. TikTok's back. TikTok is back. TikTok, Instagram, and soon to be Facebook. Follow us on there, DMG Gaming Podcast. We will see y'all Friday. Peace.